country back. Go to Chawama, go anywhere in the land. When a man dies, we shake each other's hand. You drop the argument, you show some respect. That's the basic decency that we expect. But one angry man wants to play a wicked game, trying to erase the former president's name. If they can treat a statesman with this much hate, don't even think they'll care about your fate. Chagua Lungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagua Lungu, the grudges they keep. This is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this story on election day. Chagua Lungu, Chagua Lungu, we are not going home. Chagua Lungu, Chagua Lungu, until you let him go home. Forget their protocols, forget their foolish pride. Look at the bitterness they're trying to hide. On August 13th, your vote has the power to kick out the hatred and heal our land. Chagua Lungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagua Lungu, the grudges they keep. Hey, this is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this story on election day. Chagua Lungu, Chagua Lungu, we are not going home. Chagua Lungu, Chagua Lungu, until you let him go home. Chagua, Chagua, let the man rest. Chagua, Chagua, let the man rest. We are tired of the grudges, take your beef away. Chagua, Chagua, let the man rest. This is not who we are. Few days to go before we get our country back.
Chagua, Chagua, let him rest. 12 months in the cold is enough. Zamgra. Remember this when you stand in line to vote. Edgar Chagua Lungu is still out in the cold, still waiting to sleep. This is not who we are. And over 365 days have gone by. No resting place, no final peace, just petty, vindictive politics. My fellow Zambians, look at what they're doing to our very own. This is not who we are. We gotta get our country back. They think we don't see their bitterness. Even the youth know about their pettiness. Over 12 months since the leader passed away, but that man is still blocking his burial today. Twisted the locks to settle an old score, keeping the helpless widow crying at the door. You think you are flexing your power, lifting the bar, but you've just shown everybody how hateful you are. Chagua Lungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagua Lungu, the grudges they keep. This is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this story on election day. Chagua Lungu, Chagua Lungu, we are not going home. Chagua Lungu, Chagua Lungu, until you let him go home. Chagua, Chagua, let the man rest. Chagua, Chagua, let the man rest. We are tired of the grudges, take your beef away. Chagua, Chagua, let the man rest. Hey. This is not who we are. Few days to go before we get our country back. Chawama, go anywhere in the land. When a man dies, we shake each other's hand. You drop the argument, you show some respect. That's the basic decency that we expect. But one angry man wants to play a wicked game, trying to erase the former president's name. If they can treat a statesman with this much hate, don't even think they'll care about your fate. Chagwa Lungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagwa Lungu, the grudges they keep. This is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this story on election day. Chagwa Lungu, Chagwa Lungu, we are not going home. Chagwa Lungu, Chagwa Lungu, until you let him go home. Forget their protocols, forget their foolish pride. Look at the bitterness they're trying to hide. On August 13th, your vote has the power to kick out the hatred and heal our land. Chagwa Lungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagwa Lungu, the grudges they keep. Hey, this is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this story on election day. Chagwa Lungu, Chagwa Lungu, we are not going home. Chagwa Lungu, Chagwa Lungu, until you let him go home. Chagwa, Chagwa, let the man rest. Chagwa, Chagwa, let the man rest. We are tired of the grudges, take your beef away. Chagwa, Chagwa, let the man rest. This is not who we are. Few days to go before we get our country back.
Chagwa, Chagwa, let him rest. 12 months in the cold is enough. Zamgra. Remember this when you stand in line to vote. Edgar Chagwa Lungu is still out in the cold, still waiting to sleep.
We are aware that there are some unscrupulous people that are putting together an artificially, intelligently made video purporting to show the late former president undergoing postmortem. This video is intended to invoke emotions among the people and just to play a role in the electoral process. We want to take the opportunity firstly to appeal to those people that are making this video that they should also have feelings about the people that are close to the late former president to be subjected to such kind of horrific images and videos, but also to make it very clear to all of us in the country that anybody who will be found participating in sharing such a video will be held liable and will be made to account in accordance with the law. Of course, there are people, and we keep hearing the sentiments of people complaining that the elections are boring, that there is no activity, there are no people being beaten, there is no money being thrown around. Usually, when people have stolen money, they always procure illicit activities.
We are saddened, as I've stated, from some named groupings who want to bring confusion, especially this time around when we are mourning Ngwenyama, Nkosi Yamankosi. There are people who are planning tomorrow, Friday, as they arrive at our airport Chipata, they have mobilized motorbike riders for them to gain mileage from the airport probably up to Ipenduke, which is an head off. If those plans are there, can they stop? Because now they are going to see the other side of the police. You cannot gain mileage out of lawlessness. My officers and I were not sleeping. And this information is credible, is valid, authentic, because we are working with our dear people, the community. We are not going to tolerate that. We have this information. That a certain grouping, as they arrive tomorrow at the airport, coming to the funeral, they want to mobilize motorbike riders. My dear colleagues, I think you know, day in, day out, you have been talking about these accidents pertaining to motorbike riders. Now, if somebody has, for example, for
Thursday, the 4th of June 2026. Today we hold a special broadcast to remember the late President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Members of the community, family, and many stakeholders felt that commemorating the first year since we lost a president, there should be memorials held, because the government is not going to hold one. And there is great attempt to put this matter of the late president behind the curtains, behind the national agenda, because the country is going to an election, and the biggest scandal we have is that we have not put to rest our late president, that the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema has failed to resolve this matter, and they keep on blaming the family when it's not the family. The issue is with the president. The family has had one single request, that the president must stay away from the process. And he issues statement through his surrogates that he will stay away, but he doesn't. In fact, he pushes the court matter so hard in South Africa that it leaves the family with no choice but, to let the standoff be. The standoff is as a result of President Hakainde Hichilema. And something dramatic happened. An innocent commemoration of the passing of the late president that should take place tomorrow. We saw heightened activities from two church mother bodies, the EFZ and the CCZ, who have concurrently issued statement banning their members, banning their churches, banning their leaders from participating in the process. Something unheard of. You'd think that the church mother bodies will stand with the widow, will stand with the country in remembering the late president. Not to their views, the EFZ executive director even issued something totally unbiblical, that you cannot remember a person who you have not buried. Whose purpose is a memorial service? It's for the living, it's not for the dead. The living who have memories of the dead must remember the dead, must honor the dead, must celebrate the dead. And I was just shocked at this unchristian behavior from the statement and tone from the executive director of EFZ. I'll read both statements to demonstrate how we have lost bodies of conscience in our country, how we have lost the church, who's supposed to be the salt of the earth in this country. Let me just read what EFZ said. It's currently headed by Bishop Imakando and Bishop Joshua Banda. Let me just look for this text. I read it to you, and probably you'll be as shocked as I was. The executive director issued this statement. Just give me a moment, I'll look for it. A lot of things will happen in this as we go to elections, as President Hakainde Hichilema exerts his pressure on all institutions. No one is spared, including the church. So there is the executive director, Reverend Alan Kasungami, Reverend Alan Kasungami, who's currently the executive director, issued this statement that following consultation with the EFZ leadership, that is your EFZ leadership, and recent engagement with the organizers of the proposed nationwide memorial activities, we wish to reaffirm the fellowship's position that no EFZ structures, no affiliate, no provincial fellowships or member churches should organize, endorse, facilitate, participate, or attend any such memorial event that has been organized. Our position is guided by the conviction that it is both morally inappropriate. It is morally inappropriate to remember the late president and premature to hold nationwide memorial observance before the burial of the deceased has taken place. Now, this Reverend Alan Kasungami, who's the executive director of the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, is not aware that there have been various memorials that have been held. The first one, the day that was presided over by Archbishop Alec Banda, and there have been several memorials at every stage. There was the last one that was held last month at Christian Praise Center. He's not aware. So was the late president buried already? How can I am personally shocked by the statement from EFZ. You would think it has come from maybe Stephen, my dear brother Stephen Lungu, Evangelical Fellowship, Youth Fellowship. I didn't think that it can come from EFZ. There's another one that came from CCZ, similarly expressing the issue. But we know where it's coming from. And I'll tell you why. The president held a security meeting just the other day. This is the second high-level security meeting he's holding. The first one was with service chiefs. He's totally worried about the state of the country. He's smelling a loss in his face, but he's going to use the brutality of the police, the brutality of the defense forces to attempt to hold on to power. Mr. President, this will not work. Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda, who was far stronger than you, tried the trick, it didn't work. Chiluba, Dr. Frederick Jacob Titus Chiluba, second president, during the third term when we attempted to pursue, the overwhelming reaction from the Zambians stopped him. It didn't matter that he had the arsenal of the defense forces at his disposal. So was Rupia Banda. So was Edgar Lungu in 2021. Mr. President, you not be the first one to lose an election. If you're facing an election, face it like a man. Do not abuse or misuse institutions such as EFZ and such as, I can't say much. These are both my parents. Both have laid their hands on me. So I can't say much. There I declare interest. I'll not speak on the two leaders. I don't know this Reverend Alan, who's the executive director. I have no idea who he is. I don't know to what extent he consulted in this statement. But it looks like a statement from State House. It doesn't look like a spiritual guidance statement. It's not even appear to be founded in law, in the Bible, in scriptures. But the president is afraid of what's coming ahead. He's totally afraid. All reports are showing that he's not standing very well. And you saw him today. Just listen to him.
Opportunity to inform this House that shortly after we were elected, we went to Parliament to legislate against reckless borrowing. There's a law there. Speaker is here. Many people didn't pay attention to it because the debt was acquired through recklessness. A ministry could acquire debt. Line Ministry of Finance is not aware. How can you run a country like that? How? So me, I'm listening. When people say no, they are coming back, I say, to do what? To occasion more damage? So
We've seen that rhetoric. Remember when he said Edgar Lungu akesa ikalapesa na likalapo, and he moved the Constitutional Court, fired 3 senior judges who did nothing wrong, removed them and caused fear and paralysis on that bench. And for the first time, a matter the same court had ruled 3 times, overturned its own 3 rulings in the past that Edgar Lungu was not eligible. Edgar Lungu has been cancelled in life. He's been cancelled in death. They don't want him celebrated in life, neither do they want him celebrated in death. Ninsha Michita Edgar Lungu, what has he done? All he wanted was to participate in the electoral process of our country. You moved the entire bench, defiled the judiciary to ensure that that ruling was passed. From 2022, you denied him medical attention. He kept on pleading a matter you know. He needed to see his doctors every 6 months. And you didn't even allow him to go. By the time he was going to South Africa in 2025, for 3 years, he had attempted to go to hospital 2-3 times. He had a special medical condition that the entire country knows about. And he needed to see specialist medical doctors. And like they did to Nawakwi, Nawakwi had extensive, an aggressive form of cancer, and she needed to be in India several times. And she was denied travel to India several times. And by the time they were attempting to, they didn't even allow her to be evacuated to India. She couldn't travel. But when she was lying at the orthopedic hospital on her last deathbed, that's when State House panicked, because they realized what would happen, that if she dies in the country, while she had several appointments in India, facing this aggressive cancer, that she will die, and they will see that the blood is on the hand of the president. So now they quickly evacuated her, and they evacuated her together with the former First Lady, Mama Vera Tembo Chilova. But it was too late. She just stayed a few days in hospital and she died. He did the same to the late president. He didn't allow the president for 3 years to see his medical doctors, for 3 years to access specialized treatment, to see those doctors that used to see him for his condition. And today, the late president is 1 year in the mortuary, unattended to. President Hichilema, all he has done is, we should remember what he did. The first day when the president died, the second, third day, he wanted to take the body. The family had to stop him. That was the first meeting. You know the catalogue of events. But the most shocking one was on 23rd April, when they went to Two Mountains mortuary, stole the body without the consent of the family, without the knowledge of the family, without the authorization of the family, without the presence of the family. Took the body like that of, unclaimed body, the way they took it. It had been lying in a mortuary, in a fridge, for 10 months. They picked that body. You can imagine a body that has been lying in the mortuary, frozen for that long period. And the following day, they did an illegal postmortem without the knowledge of the family, without the consent of the family, without the presence of the family. Worse still, the only people that were present is that Yui Maketo from the Zambian embassy in South Africa, signing and representing the family and signing for the rights of the family to allow that mutilation. For 5 hours, they mutilated the remains of the late president. And we understand they filmed, they recorded the entire postmortem. And that is why Thabo Kawana is worried that the video could be out there. The video could have leaked. Now he's preparing your minds that in the event that you see such a video, he claims it's AI. It had to take Makebi Zulu to travel the following day, look for the body everywhere. And remember, they did this postmortem despite an active court order, because in the night previously, as soon as they took the body, the lawyer, very proactive, immediately obtained a high court order, 20 hours, and served it on Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha. and saved it on the lawyers of Mulilo Kabesha, saved it on the Department of Foreign Affairs, Home Affairs, and saved it on the South African Police Service. But President Hakainde Hichilema proceeded to conduct that illegal postmortem despite an active court order. And today he's telling you through Tabo Kawana that in the event that you see such a video, which they themselves took with Zambian embassy officials and with the pathologist, now they are letting you that is disrespect to the family. When they mutilated the body, there was no presence of the family and took body parts. And now they are telling you that in case you see that video, if you give it to me, I'll show it here. Because why is Tabo Kawana coming here on a matter that the family is still trying to recover from? Why would he come up with such a statement? They know what they did. They know what they have done. They know that these issues will never go away. Someone will be held accountable. You cannot conduct a postmortem without the knowledge, consent, or wishes of the family. You cannot do. Worse still, there was no legal authority. They purported that it was the South African government and the South African police. We demonstrated that the action by their group, the South African civil society coalition that wanted a postmortem on the late president on allegation that he was poisoned, have never been given authority. In fact, the matter was pushed to 29th May. Even to follow up what happened on 29th May, because all of us, our minds were focused in Free State, where in Bloemfontein Free State, where that court hearing was taking place. Those are the matters we are dealing with today. And as if that is not enough, family members organize, and they've been enlisted by members across the country who want to have, because not everyone can travel to Lusaka for a memorial service. So an organization was put up that people could observe the memory of the late president in their provinces. The state has come very viciously. I've just spoken to 3 chaplains from various provincial capitals, and they've all confirmed that the police commissioners have called them that if there is any such organization, it will be deemed as an illegal gathering, and the police will come very heavy on them. We thank God that the Catholic Church and Chawama Catholic Church, Regina Passes Catholic Church, will host a memorial for the late president. Remember, Tasila Lungu goes to that church, and the church will honor the late president in a memorial. If you wish to participate and attend, please go to the memorial that will be held in Chawama tomorrow. The other churches have been paralyzed, as you saw a statement by EFZ. I wish we saw this aggression against Satanism, against a illegal postmortem, against a mistreatment of the late president. I wish we saw such an aggressive statement, because the EFZ we remember in 1990-91 is an EFZ that rose against Satanism. It's an EFZ that says we are not going to have unknown gods in our country at the seat of power at State House. They rose and spoke unequivocally, without fear, that Zambia was a Christian state, a Christian nation, and that they will not allow evil practices in our country. There was a David Universal Temple. People have forgotten. That was seated where Airtel used to be, at the corner when you're going to State House. And there's a list, maybe I should produce, when they found a list of people that used to attend the David Universal Temple. Every judge, nearly every high-level judge, every top businessman that wanted business from UNIP were going to that David Universal Temple. And some things were found. You should research about it, because the catalog, especially by a Canadian theologian, even cataloged things that were found in that David Universal Temple. it was demolished that Zambia is a Christian nation. We are back to that level. But unfortunately, you are seeing the participation of those voices that should speak for you, that should speak for Christ. What would they do? You know, for me, I always ask my question. Every time I face a controversial issue, what would Christ do? I guess he would upset the tables in those churches. I think Christ would come in those temples of theirs and upset the tables that you have departed from me. Because they're not speaking for Christians. They are not speaking for the widows. They are not speaking for the oppressed. They choose a side of power instead of siding with the weak. What kind of a church mother body do we have who can speak for the weak, who can speak for the widow? They want to purport that this process is politicized. You are the only one politicizing it. You are the only one politicizing it. And I know Zambians are on their knees. I know Zambians are praying. I know that Zambians usually do have such leaders that don't represent the wishes of Christ on earth, that don't speak Christ on earth, that to choose to side with the strong than with the poor, that choose to side not with what Christ's teachings are, but with what the king here on earth wants. We want to Akwalesa, it won't happen. Zambia will be saved, properly saved. And Zambia has seen evil reign, and Zambia has seen, God has seen us through and rescued us from the clutches of evil. And this is the environment we are facing. The security meeting I tried to talk about. Number one, President Hakainde Hichilema has directed that the defense forces must be combat ready. So you will not see any soldier, ZNS, Zambia Army, or anywhere without a combat uniform. He says they should be combat ready. They are saying there is peace. They are saying it's quiet. But this is what they are doing. They've deployed police officers to all districts and polling stations. You can tell me if you have seen the police patrolling your area. You can call when we open the phone lines, or you can comment. So that's one of the things they've done. He is directed that the entire defense forces must be combat ready, and that the police must be deployed across the entire country. And you will confirm with me. And especially, you know, when President Hakainde Hichilema was making these appointments, and we were warning you of tribal appointments, you kept on saying, however, they are Zambians. No, they are qualified, and they are Zambians. Now you have the entire police commissioners, all the 10 provinces manned by everyone from one region, other than one or two isolated. And like we've seen in the diplomatic services, you know, every time you see a name from another region, then you have to trace why such an appointment. You find that in marriage or in any other circumstances, they are together. And you know that on this platform, I always discourage discussing tribalism, but you are seeing its fruits. Look at your police commissioners across the provinces and see what they are doing. Look at your defense chiefs and see what they are doing. The former service chiefs that were gathered, the president received high-level information. He is very paranoid. He thinks that something is about to happen, that especially with Xavier Chungu speaking, and he doesn't have a proper intelligence. Remember, he runs a small parallel intelligence at State House, and he has discarded the official intelligence service. So he eats and drinks on stories from the bar, stories from cadres, and processed and filtered information that is not properly intelligence processed information. So he's a paranoid president. He's seeing a coup everywhere. He's seeing civil unrest anywhere. And you wouldn't blame him, because all reports are saying the political tension in the country is so high that Zambia is sitting on a powder keg. So when they pretend that there is peace, when they pretend that it is well, they have all the reports. The U.S. ambassador, the U.S. embassy has warned to its nationals worldwide not to travel to Zambia. that in the next 3 months, the volatility, political volatility of the country is totally uncertain. They even fear civil unrest, civil insurrections. Those words were alien to us in Zambia because we're a bastion of peace. We are a bastion of patience. We never resort to violence. So to be described as a country that is sitting on a powder keg that might explode any time, that is observing, we are at the tether of civil unrest. These words are strange to you and me because we know a Zambia that's peaceful, that holds elections and changes power without any issue. We changed power with Dr. Kaunda. We removed Rupiah Banda. We removed President Edgar Lungu. He feels that the decision by Zambians to remove him is like a coup. No, it's a vote. It's a democratic vote, Mr. President. You are running the worst cost of living crisis in modern history. 12,000 kwacha. You found it at 8,000 kwacha. And forget the artificial things they've done, that there are foreign reserves of $6.2 billion at, that inflation rate is at a single digit, and that they've debt rescheduled. And let me come to the debt reschedule, just briefly. Allow me, indulge me. Last week, we heard from reports from Reuters and Bloomberg, from London and New York, that Zambia has gone to the market. They're trying to get a loan from African Development Bank and other lenders to buy back the Euro bond. The very thing he's celebrating that he has restructured. Do you know why he wants to do that? Because here the debt restructure is one of the most expensive debt restructure in the world. We are paying an average of $1.2 billion a year until 2052. And remember how much we borrowed? $3 billion. We borrowed $3 billion. So 2024, when we started paying back the debt, $1.1 billion, $1.2 billion. This year, Felix Nkulukusa said it's $900 million. But when you go through independent numbers, we are paying another $1 billion, $1.1 billion. In 3 years, you've already repaid your $3 billion debt. And we are going to be paying like that until 2052. It's one of the most expensive debt restructure in the world. Speak to independent economists. Don't speak to my dear brother Lubinda Abazoka. Or don't speak to the young man here, George N. Mutonga. He knows nothing. Ask what it will cost in debt service between now and 2052 when we finally finish that $3 billion debt and the $5 billion debt with China. So do not be fooled. The debt restructure is not a success. It's a burden to you now and to our children who have to pay this debt up to 2052. That is why Namibia, who have patriotic economists, told their president, Madam President, what we owe Eurobond, if we debt restructure it, we'll pay more, probably 10, 20 times more. Just pay it in one bullet point. And they made one bullet payment, $750 million. Their Minister of Finance will not be celebrated as the best Minister of Finance because the creditors hate that. That means they will not earn interest. Mozambique, learning from Namibia, have done the same. One bullet payment. Musokotwane here, he has money, he can make one bullet payment, but he will not. He would rather borrow from African Development Bank. He's exempted the mining companies from paying anything in their export of concentrate. And you know the copper concentrates, they have gold, they have silver, they've cobalt in them. But when they go as concentrates, the gold is not extracted, the cobalt is not extracted. The silver, manganese, and other byproducts are never processed. That is why mining companies, even with your capacity to smelt in the country, do not want to smelt in the country, because then they are exposed. They have to separate the gold, they have to separate the copper to its purity, and they have to then account and pay taxes for the gold, cobalt, and other. But when they take it as concentrates, Fidavika Mumalasha Mulamona, how those trucks go, that's diamond for them. On top of that, Musokotwane has given them the last act before he resigned. He signed a statutory instrument and gave the 6 companies export free, because to discourage them from exporting raw materials, we put an export surcharge, that there should be an export duty to anyone that wishes to export raw materials. Here, even when they are stealing our gold, Musokotwane even says, no, should be exempt free. They should not pay any export duty. And he issued that statutory instrument. That was his last act. If you see the date of that statutory instrument is on 15th May 2026. So the debt restructure is a disaster. I can bet you it's a disaster. Do not, because now you are dealing with an educated lot, uneducated people. And sometimes I get surprised that it's the most educated people that are fooled or run the narrative. You tell me how much it will cost us in debt service in paying for that Eurobond up to 2052. You tell me how much it will cost. Nakalova yawa mapo. Nakalova yawa mapo. That is why they celebrate Musokotwane, because he has given them such a sweet deal. And when he has announced that they want to buy back the debt, the creditors have issued a very strong statement to the markets. They've said, no, we will not allow Zambia to sell our debt. We are interested partners. Why are they worried? Because now up to 2052, interest only. By the time you are paying the final amount, they will have bought yachts, they will have bought, they will have their luxury lives across the world. And that's why they are strongly objecting to Zambia buying back its debt. And why, my question to the educated lot, why is Zambia, after successful debt restructure, why is it trying to buy back its own debt? Why would they do that? I thought you were celebrating that you've restructured the debt and you've eased out resources and that you are now paying to social services such as CDF and Cash for Work. Why then would you commit over $3 billion to buying back your own loan that you claim you have restructured? I thought Dr. Kaunda sent you to school free of charge, that at a time like this, you can give Zambians proper information and opinions. That at a time like this, when an educated president is trying to lie to you using words, that you call him out, because Dr. Kaunda educated you free of charge, sent you to some of the best universities free of charge. It is your time to pay back to the country, especially when you have a president who's lying using economic numbers. What has caused the appreciation of the kwacha from 28 to 18? I've not seen any analysis. What has caused it? Tell me. How have you earned your foreign reserve to $6.5 billion? Tell me, who should demonstrate? Yet, you have borrowed than any other government before you. You have borrowed, you found a debt of $11.9 billion. This is foreign debt. I'm not talking about public debt. Before we go into arguing about the numbers, let's just argue about the specific numbers. You found foreign debt. You look at the statement by the Minister of Finance in 2021 October when he reported the state of the debt to Parliament, and an update he did in November. He tells you that the local debt was 178 billion kwacha and the foreign debt was $11.9 billion. The foreign debt is sitting at $16.7 billion from $11.9 billion. The local debt has ballooned from 178 billion kwacha to 252 billion kwacha. He has borrowed than any other president before. But the educated ones, when the president is lying, they are quiet. In fact, they repeat his narrative. that he has restructured the debt. Now we are sitting pretty. Are we, with some of the worst debt service that to take place up to 2052, are we, when you have a president that has borrowed more than his predecessor? Come on, we want to Wakwalesa. We'll be opening phone lines. Today we are remembering the late president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. There is a church service tomorrow at Chawama Catholic Parish. It's called Regina Passes Parish, and it is hosting this memorial. The Catholic Church, something you praise, and we thank God for them, because even under UNIP, when all churches were shut, quiet, they couldn't speak. And why SDA wale under before we don't discuss politics. But why SDA onomkolo but ever tungirile nama politics ukuchila any other churches. The Catholic Church spoke for Zambians. They ran a very vibrant, critical newspaper called the Chengelo. They even had an English version. If there is any place Dr. Chuluba and the trade unions found voices, were at the Catholic Church. Even in this time, we applaud the church that while the EFZ and CCZ have been silenced and would not speak for Christ, would not speak for the widow, would not speak for the weak, that when they've sided with the powerful, that the Catholic Church have stepped in and they've authorized this church service. The Catholic Church can't fight this battle alone. You have to help them. You attend that memorial tomorrow. That's the only thing you can do to remember President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. What has President Lungu done to be dishonored in life and in death? To be cancelled, tetue kuchechi, tetue mkutamba bola, you can't do this. Now even in death, he has been cancelled. You can't hold a memorial for the late president. And we should sit timid and quiet when this is happening. We thank God that the Catholic Church have allowed for this memorial to take place at Regina Passes Catholic Church in Chawama. Remember, this is where Tarsila Lungu goes, and the church has honored her. They'll hold a memorial. And I don't know what you think by the allegation by the churches that you cannot hold a memorial service or a church service for the deceased until you've buried them. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? So how do we remember the dead whose bodies have never been found? They are known. Opposite cabinet officer is what we call a cenotaph. That erection is for the soldiers we sent to World War I and World War II. Many of them never came back. Many of them, their bodies, we've never seen them. Every year we hold a memorial for them. Without a body, we don't even know where they lie. So today, the churches should say you can't hold a memorial service because there is no body. How do we remember the unknown? How do we remember the dead? Come on. Come on. The phone lines are open. The statement has been issued by that Reverend Alan Sungami. He says you cannot remember Edgar Lungu's memorial because he has not been put to rest. He says it's morally inappropriate. Those are the words he's used. He's executive director, EFZ. And he says no church, no member, no sanctuary of theirs should be used. And they proceeded to call the provincial pastoral fellowships and directed them. And they've proceeded to report them to the police, because now the police are calling our provincial fellowship committees that we've been told by Alan Sungami that you will not hold this conference. They've not sanctioned it as a church. And those that are affiliated with CCZ, they are also, the police in these provinces are also citing them, that we've been told by CCZ that they've not sanctioned any memorial. So no church facility of theirs should be used. I wonder what that barefoot prophet, that son of God, would do if he read these two statements. But you and I know what Christ would do. He would upset their tables and he would rebuke them that you've turned my temples, my church, into business premises. The phone lines are open and let's speak to you.
Mundubile, 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 mundubile. Chor. Mundubile, mundubile. So I'm your malushi, yon samarabish. 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 Tupele mada Zambia, kumwa umewafundwa. Tupele mada Zambia, kumwa umewafundwa. Muchalo tabulayo, tuleana mundubile. Twaikala mafarao.
The phone lines are open. You can call now. Hello, caller. We have the first callers. Let's receive your calls. What are your views about this matter? Yeah, you can call now. You can call now as we open the phone lines. Today we saw Nkosi Amakonsi, his body taken to Chipata. Let me just speak to this. Briefly. Caller, just hold on. Let me speak to this briefly. Now, I saw a lot of people concerned about the remains of the learning from what has happened to President Lungu. I saw apprehension around the remains of the late president, of the late King, His Majesty Mpezeni, and that the warriors were camped at FSG to guard the body, that there should be no postmortem. And we understand there were a lot of attempts to take the body from FSG to Maina Soko, and the warriors had instructions not to allow it. So na chisasa kanjira, but tabeshiva at FSG, ushabadishwa mwina wa FSG funeral. Who bought ID and FSG? Who's the owner? Tell me in the comments. Who is a board chairperson? Padmo Mlea, who's also Kanona Power Company chairperson. Who is he? How is he related to the president? Kash namkomono umubiri wa mfumu muliba ichilema. Mleba taba kanshitsinde kutuwasika kwati nachiwama. But this is how extensive things are. Okay, let's take the calls and hello caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Alex.
Yes, Alex.
I'm trying to be more sober, but very, very disappointed and upset with the happening. Ambassador, if I lose myself, please bear with me. I'm a bit emotional, but please, I'll try to manage myself. Ambassador, to discuss the issue of a former president. Today, 1 year from the time that he passed on. And we have the other hand, which is the government saying we have to bury the former president in a respective manner. He was a commander-in-chief. This is the man they embarrassed in living. They called him all kinds of names. They insulted publicly, and none of those people were called to report themselves to police or any arrest. In his death, we have seen how the Attorney General has changed goalposts in his statements. Even H.H. Mwine, he has said that we want to respect him and all those kind of things, and yet they have their agenda on how we want to present that body before sacrifice, before the devil themselves. Ambassador, the church today, I'm sorry, I am a Christian, but allow me to say this. The church, and more especially Bishop Makando, Bishop Banda, Joshua Banda, they are such an embarrassment. These were the people who were once calling about no issues to do with the, like you mentioned earlier on, no satanism, no everything. But today they are the people who are winning with HH. I'll try to be. Let me just tell you how Imakando became a pastor. Imakando, I wonder if he has a calling. Imakando is coming from background of Baptist. Together with the former minister Liato, they were youth chairmen in Baptist, and they traveled to the United States of America, where they were funded to build those. If you remember those times, those people were breaking away within UCZ, the Roman Catholic, making some Pentecostal movement. They were assigned, the two of them with Liato, that should be the pastors across the country. And that's how Bread of Life became. Liato, common sense, said, no, we can misbehave with other things, but not with the things of God. That's all Liato find himself. If Liato is hearing or Imakando hearing to this, he knows that these are facts. That's why he had to step down and became a politician. But Makando, whenever he goes on and becomes a preacher, fake preacher. He has never been a truth preacher.
My brother, I don't know.
Hold on.
I don't know. I'm uncomfortable with that line.
No. Please. In 2014, Imakando, in front of his congregation, he denounced ACL. That almost break the church. The church where in 2014, when ACL was becoming a president, he denounced ACL. He said, I would rather go for UPND publicly, and the church divided. Ambassador, this is the man not long ago that he's in Mufumwe got issues. People are arrested and they open it in public domain. They say this man will have been employed from Tanzania, foreigners. We have been employed and we are on the payroll of Imakando. Is there an arrest? The answer is no. And today, this is a man who's saying, look, his back is ascending himself with the government. Wearing, as the Bible says, we're putting on a garment of a sheep and yet is a wolf. Bishop Banda Bishop Banda is an embarrassment, because when he started, when he was becoming a president, or rather after his tenure of office as a president of Assemblies of God Northern President, national president, he went to State House and asked a church to support him so that he can return the presidency. The favorable was Reverend Jerry. State House machinery came in and manipulated everything. And Bishop Banda pledged that I never supported you in opposition, but I'll support you. And I'll use, every time I'm ordaining some bishops across the country, I'll call provincial ministers. And that's what he did. And right now, Banda is spearheading no any other agenda but his very agenda. It's such a disgrace, and these are the people Banda. He should tell the nation how the money was raised for the church, the one which was being built. Banda today should be able to speak to those issues.
Okay, my brother, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Today is going to be an emotive debate, especially of what's happening where. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Yes, caller.
Thank you very much. Today, I will opt not to disclose my name.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. There are two issues I want to discuss. One, the issue of ECL, and secondly, the issues of the church. Which one should I start with? My brother Emmanuel Mamba.
Just know that there are so many calls. Be brief in both cases.
Okay, thank you. Let me start with the issue of ECL. Ambassador Emmanuel Mamba, the issue of ECL is tragic. It's depressing. It's shocking. And it's very sad, to say the least. You have to hold your emotions when you're commenting on this issue. You really have to hold your emotions. A year has passed. If there is any one reason why any sane Zambians should not vote for President Hakainde Hichilema, it is because of failing to bury ECL. ECL was simply requested for one thing. When you are burying me, make sure this man is, I don't want him anywhere near my body. And any normal person, ECL himself said that he wish ECL said this person should not be anywhere near my body. And knowing what happened between ECL and President Hakainde Hichilema, the way he treated him, the way he stopped him, took him out of the plane when he was not going for leisure, he was going for treatment. A normal person should have just said, let us respect this wish. A normal person should have said, knowing the relation, pictures all over, all of you watched how ECL was treated. Knowing the request he gave, the man should have just said, no, let us respect his wishes. By now, we could have buried our sixth president with dignity. What did that man do? Yesterday, I was watching President Hakainde Hichilema at Mulongoshi, Ambassador Emmanuel. He's saying reckless borrowing. You know I laugh. Reckless borrowing, every day is at the airport. That was built by ECL. Reckless borrowing, every day is traveling on the roads that ECL built. Reckless borrowing, when we have hospitals all over, we have Levi, Mwatukumanawas. Has Hakainde Hichilema ever built a hospital like the National Heart Hospital? Will he ever build a hospital like National Heart Hospital? So even if somebody stole, he borrowed and he worked. You are telling us that this man has even borrowed more than PF. What does he have to show? What does he have to show for the money he has borrowed? So what I'm saying is that if there is any other reason why any sane person should not vote for this person, it is for one simple reason of failing to bury ECL. Then look at, he wants to go and show himself the way he showed himself at the funeral of Edith Nawakwe, without any sense of shame. Edith Nawakwe was locked up. She cried, I have my drugs that I need to get from India. She was blocked from traveling. She had cancer, aggressive cancer like you rightly observed. She was blocked from going there. And as a head of state, he has documented these files. And he went there, even at the funeral, he was showing, he wanted to show up there. He was showing up for what? So what we are saying about the church, lastly, my brother Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, is that the church in Zambia, the only church we have today is the Roman Catholic Church. Oh, and please, allow people to discuss these issues. The Pentecostal pastors have been a great embarrassment and a disgrace because they have been behaving like wolves in sheepskin. They have turned the Bible into an enterprise. They have turned the Bible as a tool of making money. That's what, and the President Hakainde Hichilema, one thing I want to put it to you. He has no problem with money. You can see even the settlements that are coming from all of. Everyone he can buy, he has bought. And he is going to use, and he has no problem with money. These very tax holidays he was giving the money, that is the money maybe that is being given now to be bribing the people anyway. That's why you are hearing all those funny churches. Where have you seen the church refusing to hold a memorial? Where have you seen a church failing to hold a memorial? So these people must be told in no uncertain terms. We know them, they are wolves in sheepskin. They are there not to, they are using the word of God to fatten their tummies. And this has been happening for some time. Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, we are still appealing to all the people of this country to say, please, your vote is your voter's card is the only weapon that we have today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's time to flip the tables like Jesus Christ did. Time to flip the tables. Because Christ, you know, when the only people Christ condemned many times in the passage of Christ were those religious leaders. He said they were like white-washed tombs. They looked clean with their robes outside, but they were rotten inside. And it was very clear. Probably it's time to flip the tables like Christ did. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
Tandiwe Ketish Ngoma is my name.
My dear sister, make your contribution.
Yes, Ambassador. Firstly, I would like to say happy birthday to the the expert for body viewing, President Hakainde Hichilema. The expert for body viewing. Okay, so away from that, Ambassador, I just want to say my heart really bleeds to see that those church mother bodies issued those statements. I would call them hypocrites. I don't mean to disrespect them, but please allow me to call them hypocrites. If those church mother bodies really mean well, I think they could have advised President Hakainde Hichilema correctly. Why have they failed to tell President Hakainde Hichilema to respect the wishes of the dead? Because they seem like they are driving the agenda of President Hakainde Hichilema. The wishes of the dead were very, very simple. In an event that I died, my successor, President Hakainde Hichilema, should not be anywhere near my remains. No. Should he preside over my funeral? It's as simple as that. They don't need to question why. Everybody knows why. So why have they found it very, very okay that Hakainde Hichilema should just impose himself on a funeral where he is not wanted? Why have they failed to tell him the truth? Why have they failed to confront him? Bishop Joshua Joel Makando, why can't you tell President Hakainde Hichilema to respect the wishes of the dead? Why? Instead, you've decided to side with the powerful. You've left the widow. You've left the family. Why? Bishop Joshua Banda from North Mid Assemblies, why have you decided to side with the powerful? Where have you left the widow? Where have you left the orphans? What does the Bible say? Now today, when the family is seeking for refuge, seeking for you as a church just to hold them by their hand and hold a memorial service, and you say you'd rather first they buried before they could do this. How could they bury when HH does not want to respect the wishes of the dead? Why can't you advise the president to do the correct thing? You are hypocrites. You are hypocrites. Which Bible do you read that you fail to tell HH the truth? Now, everybody is able to see. If you are courageous enough, if you are men of God worth your salt, do the right thing. What you've done really, even publishing that letter, is such disgraceful. You call yourselves men of God. Where is your integrity? Where is your integrity? Having a church service for the former head of state, inenga nja kuma chechi yenu ayo kuti naleka nokuleka. Kuti naleka nokuleka. I'm not inciting people to stop, but I mean they should question your integrity. They have to question your integrity. You are hypocrites. I don't mean to be judgmental, but things are straightforward here. You are supposed to stand with the oppressed. Madam Esther Lungu is oppressed now. 1 year. The husband is still in the morgue. Why? Because President Hakainde Hichilema has to preside over that funeral. And you decide to be quiet? Even just for holding a simple church service. Mwakana, you are hypocrites. I move away from there, Ambassador. I come to Tavukawana. But Tavukawana, you come to address the media, telling us that there is an AI video which is being created somewhere. The question that I may want to ask you, how did you know about that? How did you know about that? You go as far as saying whoever is creating this, you are giving warnings that the law will follow them and it's not good for the family, blah, blah, blah. But when you decided as a government to go and do what you did to the body of the former head of state, what were you thinking about the family? You thought that was a good thing to do? And now if people see the gruesome mutilation that you did to the body of the former head of state, you want to say it would be bad for the family? When you were doing that, what were you thinking? You even have the audacity to address the press, to address the people of Zambia, and tell us, no, when that video comes out, just be rest assured it is an AI. In this time and era, you think you can tell us that it is an AI without us knowing if Ishinka? You think we cannot tell which one is an AI and which one is not? Whatever you did to the former head of state, takwava, I'll still say it as it is. Takwava, because what explanation can we give it? You go and get the body of the former head of state against the court orders, and on top of that, you go and mutilate it. Family tairiko, mweka fie. We also heard that there was a traditional leader there. Tamwatutarike because everything was done in a way which is questionable. Batabokawana, mwafuma kubantu. Nga mwafuma kubantu, you have to behave like somebody who afuma kubantu. You can't come and just in the name of trying to drive the agenda, the evil agenda of HH, you had the audacity to tell us, no, this is evil and this is not good for the family. When your government decided to take the grieving family to court, what do you call that? What do you call that? That is evil. As if that is not enough, you go and steal the body, not to kubula. You stole the body of the former head of state, and you went and mutilated it. And now information is coming out, and you want to say whoever will be found with the video will be held accountable. You have no shame. You have what a disgrace you are. Together with HH himself. As I conclude, Ambassador Mwamba. HH, tomorrow will mark exactly 1 year. 1 year since your predecessor died. If you have a conscience, please let the family find closure. Stay away. Respect the wishes of the deceased. It's as simple as that. What do you want from that body? What is it that you want from that body that you cannot let the family find closure? 1 year, not only in Africa, but in the entire world. That's why I'm for your story. Ishimi Pamba. We've never heard of such a story. What a legacy you're going to leave behind. As we vote you out, come 13th August, we are going to vote you out. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. There are so many calls. Let's try to be brief. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Thank you, Ambassador Mamba. My name is Uncle Jay.
Uncle Jay, make your contribution.
Thank you. Let me just begin with the church issue on this memorial service. It's so unfortunate that the church has been compromised by this regime. Unfortunately, most of these so-called men of God have been bought, at a fee, and they're singing praises. I was shocked to see Bishop Joshua Banda actually attending a service at the Heroes Stadium with the president. A few days after they mutilated the body of ECL, I was shocked to see people who are supposed to speak for justice, because that's what the body of Christ does. The body of Christ is made up of believers who have been justified by faith in Christ Jesus, and they stand for righteousness and justice. But unfortunately, what we are seeing right now by these so-called men of God who are just enriching themselves, whilst we have street kids, people who've been in their churches going without food, but they are celebrating with the corridors of power. They've been given a lot of money. They have to find a way to cleanse this man because of who he is. And he has to stand with people that can speak like Bishop, former Pastor Mumba. And now we have Bishop Banda and others that have accompanied and come through to stand for this man, which is very, very sad. So to see the church leaders behave the way they've behaved over the service of ECL is a disgrace to the nation. And they should know it, that what they are doing, they should check their conscience. John the Baptist was speaking the truth. He spoke to authority. But these want to down with the authority because they are there not for God, but specifically for their bellies. That is what they are for. Secondly, let me just quickly conclude by speaking on what Tawakawana said. This is how UPD has always operated. Every time they're about to do something, they'll preempt it. When it comes, people have already heard what they said, but hey, we are not fools. We understand what is taking place. We know what happened. We are able to differentiate an AI material and an original material. So this one, we'll wait and see. But there will be a day for reckoning. I've always said a day for reckoning will surely come for these people. I thank you, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we have so many people waiting. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba.
Good evening.
My name is Teresa from Essex.
Yes, make your contribution.
Thank you so much for this opportunity again. Kwena inende foku mitotera first of all pakutusumisha ko bati twachita ventilate pali pa forum yenu ile sale mipala sana. Fonde fo afi okulanda kokuli ifufe mazambians ifakwe bati iyi period of time tulebukisha obushuko bafire ba ECL. Tube abakuba encouraging to the family rather than ukuchita inflict pain. Church kulifya kulandalanda efya kusana especially kuma opposition parties. But kutichawama a period of time to alapera rest, especially the widow. Support to the widow, especially kufuma kuli ba UPND dayaba sana. They faced a lot of problems, and a year of mourning like this is not an easy thing. Kuma men of God, Bible ila nokwe bati tufetu achita support ama widows. Iyi situation ile chitika kuma men of God. I respect ba Joshua Banda sana sana na chitani respect ba Makanda.
Joy Makando, Bishop Joy Makando.
Bishop I respect these men of God. They are legends and they've helped us so much. But my prayer, or rather my plea, voice note, please stand with the widow and the family. If there's a time that the widow and the family need support, it is this time, and not from anywhere, but from the believers, from the Christians themselves. The Bible ilandokwe bati abachusha ma widows tunokwati bali chushalinza. So wema men of God, please stand with the family and support them. Now coming to other people abali tumama nani kanamba videos aya pisana please leken tukwate kulyo mutimo wa kumfwa. Supposing it was me, because uko pitamali situation for a year, it's not an easy thing. Supposing it was me, kutina umfwashani ukuba muli situation ya msango efi. So please, my plea is, let us support this family during this period of time.
Thank you, my dear sister. There are so many calls. Let me take the other calls. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening. Mkwai wa munkonge mwa. Endita.
Ambassador, mukabumbire pona sana pamulando wa marecords y'abalungu pantu mwali pitire na beno mwingi umone mwe bali na bena mupepita pa bana bakwe bati bamipere ko oluse tawo isa roshe kona ngumutemu ikwako bati bena abarwaniye bayibika mupepi chote ekisumo ero ba ambassador bashima pepo baraba tuma gogo ni ba banda nani bali abashima pepo abatuma gogo balia
Ba Bishop Joshua Banda.
Ni ba nani
Ba Bishop Joshua Banda.
Ba Joshua mutima bako atate usuma ambassador ilio barungu kwali mwale sare ntungurushi mu PF after basata bafwa kwali okuruishanya kula kwali kwa mupate badi okufuma pali ina ishita inopona ishibire ba Joshua Banda ishishibira atiko bale mbere mu post ngakutina afwana na shani esarengera timbeshibe balirandire fintu ifibisana pali barungu kubeba ati ni mafia bama mafians ngamwabarekera okwisa teke charo chimono ko bati mwapere charo kuma
awe bamunkonge lawe lekeni apon ndandile ko wa Bishop Joshua Banda ba Bishop Joshua Banda na ba Father Chilinda. They are the ones that helped Mao Sampa, Guy Scott on one side, and on the other side Edgar Lungu and the group to be put together. So apopena na laba landilako, but Joshua Banda was very instrumental in bringing peace between the two.
Wakafuteria article inopona beshibire parapene pako describe Walungu group yawo as a mafian group. Valirandire sana pamakanga ifwaya.
But that is what I wanted to just clarify. I think on that particular part, he played the key role in bringing the two factions together in 2014. I was part of that process, and I know what I'm talking about. Landenipo, I just wanted to correct things, yes.
Okay, now for ambassador, kwena ndeko selesha kofi wa mayo wa Estarungu. N'abana ndi bonse ababena tasira abena daliso batwalirire fyo kubika fyonse muliresa opo twashika epano noleso mwino wa makayonse ewa ishiba umwaka utuntulu wamoneka lero chikushirangiriro kulireso mwine na ishiba ofyalere tapantanshi badrero abaneso abakoma chechi nabena ndebe bako pantu pato akwata pano pesa mbali acharo nimo kwashwa mushiro ilio bali onse mu mapepo mupasho wa mushiro afuire ale stashani alebe kirira pantu tabeshibe inanikane iri komairo kuti arenge fintu fimo fyabana muishire isuma nombaro kuri kwibukisha warungu mwaka umwoyo wapwa tabeshi bena ma programs ofo yali leto busuma limbi parapene pali finga chitike fintu isume finga lengo kwebati nero turi apanta shuma elections ya pita bwino nomba bena bwishubiro nshi obo bakwetepo pantu wa ambassador fya chitika pali ba tata barungu kwaliwa kuyasenda omubiri basita postmortem iliko abantu abakene memorial tabatalire abema pono kupera press conference no kulanda amashiwu yakwe bati ififi achitika tafiweme na ishire bonfafe pakulanda parwimbo rwakwa yo maps tiyo yo maps ofya achitire video tapangire bwino busho mupamba ukuru uwa kuya ibe chitumbi na ilia video yapangire yo maps bena nchise chare barengo mubiri ukwenda pantu fya chitika pakati kabatata barungu nangu tabote bumidieta ukurandira kucharo baliringire baba bashipo kuranda pama shiwa yasuma so chairanga fya pa utatutu ukweba tibaba ku side yaba UPNG pantu yonse cyo barera nda chire support aba UPNG icho te kisuma na mwe ma pastors aba nono mweba kenye konkeni umupasho wa mushiro na konsoko muri nanguraba mikanya chechi yakwa Kristo te yamunturi wonse mukatite umupasho fe olemieba mukarombere ko urukora abarungu umuru wa pita panta kwa abantu kurosha umwako utunturu pano pesonde twaliringo kubarombera ko bakoba chififintu fyaunda pa mwishire isuma na pera ambassador
thank you
randa pa batemwe kwa beso barungu tina rufyanya rote tinte mwa kurufyanya ino ishta tulipo ni ishta imo ikankara sana ambassador na mwe turamirombera ko ambassador mukese no kwisashika barungu mutende imbire Sofia Fwaya.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Today we've learned that CCZ and EFZ have collaborated with the police to stop the provincial memorials for the late president, and the police commissioners who are calling the organizers in the province are citing them as authorities that have been told by both CCZ and EFZ that they've not sanctioned any memorial, and the police have been directed to enforce. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Hello, caller. Oh, sorry, there's another caller waiting. Hello, caller, just a minute, caller, just a minute, let me bring you on. Sorry, there are so many calls, Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Chunglopa Mkwai.
Mkwai. Mkwangu fyanya fya ambassador nderanda pali patundu tatu ababa kenye memorial yaba former president the late Edgar Lungu apate turande nefingi ababantu bale babonfya kuli ba politician abali mpawa lero ngambashuma pepo mfiremu abapakati ngira abakwati mimbulisha kulyano kutyaganya ukuisa kuli padamu achirande fya kula sala mumingi shenjito mutundumo alisa tandala ko musumba wa Chingola ngaya kuchingola palia pa Chingola Central Police Station ku department ya traffic kulianga mwaya kulya mwalasanga eba top wa puli pamuru top wa traffic wa ku Southern Province no kongere po mwana kasho wa ku Southern Province lero tatulelando ko battu ali bapata baline kwaba ababana enzu rupwa blood imoine tuli one Zambia one nation nomba abaisale to yumutundu wakwe bati na machito nomba ilifye kula konge mitundu ifintu ndera ndaba mwamba wesu na bambe fya bali bonse baka epa Chingola palia ku traffic department baka mone utopu ni nani no kongerepo ni nani bala sango kwe bati batonga beka ukuisa isa kuli ya kuvika aba polisi ama soja kuchingola sehemu kuchingola kumokwini ngaya pa baraki palia para kasompe tano pali wa baraki pali marasa ngokwe para makampu aba soja na makomando bali sapali abengi akachero kula balwe bale fume chilaila bale butukana besura mu misebo so bonse bali abantu baleeta kushe kulya kuchingola kuli ero natandade kushe kuli nkondo kuchingola so byonse firera ngapa butatu tukwe bati it's like abantu bali plan the Easter my election barefu abali abantu nga chako bati bakaba bonse kulatinya abantu shishi byabene epo beminine nga pesa no mbefu twala tekwa ngecharo icharo tepo chifiro okubayo bakafume bakalondolwere aba ku defense bakalondolwere kushe balya ebo batwala kuchingola kule ninchitonshi bakwetekula kuchingola kuli nkondo bengi ambassador fintu ndemyewa bengi so echi chimusango chirefu kwa chise kumpera babakwe bati mrefu mukambyo kulatinisha kwa abantu kuma election ya reisa mulolekeshepo bwino ifita fyakabombera mpano atotera ambassador kwe bantu twirako kola sana twashira kona banenzi balanda.
Thank you emutimoyo wine Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba. This is Mumba Innocent calling through from Gateway.
Thank you, Mumba. Please make your contribution.
Mr. Mwamba, I'm really happy that you now consider that Munduvire have got a lot of followers than MZ80, but they are all friends, and you have to take one who's in front of all. Then for the funeral of the late ECL, Bamwamba kuno ni ku Zambia. Kuchironga techove nga bakwe bati uyisako. Tekwa kutora na matu kuti bakocha. Mwanafo Bamwamba.
Ndio mfaya makula ndeni.
Chichironga bakwe bati kuno kuchitiro uyisa kutature kufaya. Techirido chove chakwati upatikishefe atikanonjeko. Chirido chawabe nikubaleka balira bashika. So ukufa kwa bamndaro kufika kuri wanu ye chatupapusha ngate chiri kuri kuyape noti chirido chirite chove eba anko bobe bafuate badadi bobe abana barerira iwo patikishefe cyabana beshika abakashibarerira mnafo bamwamba
Akulandayama, you are on. I'm waiting for you to quickly finish. Tupele ko bambi. Mwakulandeni.
Mwebe na Zambia chiro nganya techobe te bawiso bafire te bano kotecha.
Oh, he got cut. Please, when I've answered you, just continue to speak. I don't have to agree with you or urge you on to speak. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
James. Yes, Ambassador, quite disappointed with our fathers in the faith, the people we look up to. If servants of God can behave like that, who is going to save us from the brutality of our earthly leaders? You know, of all people, Bishop Joshua Banda being part of the team that has rejected the service for the late president is very unfortunate. For Bishop Makando, it's understood. It's very, very understood. That man has not been on the side of the former President Lungu. But Bishop Joshua Banda, of all men of God to be part of the government, wow. I don't know where we are going to run to. You know, in the olden days, I remember God used to open the earth and swallow people. This thing can happen even today because when you look at how the family of the former president has really suffered, 1 year, you know, Jesus died, he was killed on Friday, and Joseph of Arimathea came to the king and asked for the body. Of all those people that were close to President Lungu who are now close to President Chilema, there is no one who can convince the man, just like Joseph of Arimathea did on the to get the body of Jesus and bury. Surely, we are being betrayed, and like someone said, we have left with no option but to say this thing that man said, which I don't want to say. I'm quite disappointed. I don't know where we are going to run to. But of course, pastors, their duty is for the vulnerable, the oppressed. If they cannot stand for us and stand with the power, I don't think God is going to be happy with these, our spiritual leaders. I'm quite disappointed. That's my comment, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Bamwamba Mwabombeni.
And Stamkwai Mwabombeni.
This is Mama T.
Mama T, make your contribution.
Mkwai na dotela. Bamwambecha kubadila po ndefwa ya nkoseleshe family ya batata ba ECAO kwebati chen tuloleshe fe kulilesa ifo twachitekela fe mulilesa. While others believe in some other things, our trust is in God. And we know that God is God. Nothing surprises God. It shall be well. Njise nomba kuli ifile chitika mzambia. Pamwambanga mwaroleshe ifile chitika. Fyonze fye ifile chitika. Kwa ishidama Freemasons, batekesha ama meetings, bayapela nama donations pa skulu. Did you hear any church rising up and talking against that? Nothing. We saw when we were told to say no, umubiri waba tata barungu na uluba. Anti bakabesha balando kwe batawe, fwe basendero umubiri ni fwevo. Bayashita post-mortem without any family member, without even consulting the family. Mwari umfapo abacheche abali bonza balandire popali yoyori ashirio. Takuri, kurifyezi. Look at what is happening right now. This is a campaign period. Constitution ya Zambia ilando kwebachani. Ama campaigns yafuire abako 90 days, which is 3 months. Up to day ya kuvota. Kuliziva mwamba kuno Zambia, kule moneka kwati this is not an election year. Aboba police yo recruitment ya chitike yo. Ya muri mu darkness without even telling the people. We've heard that there are some cadres there who are older, who are not even supposed to be recruited. We were told, they got from the database. Which database did they get those abakulu, abakuja kulibu police? Ngamara bafisa shani. Because we will see them in uniforms. Nangu mubafisa mushte shani, we understand there are some renowned cadres there. Abana babakulu, abasango kokuina kumanani kani, kuma State House. Among the 400 that they've taken kuma recruitment aya muri silence. Singi bamwambe file chitika taparule landa. Katuishi file chitika Mzambia ndemieba. Takurule landa, bonse bali fye quiet nga macheche ayo. Ama pastors yabo, te abo abali nazi. Whatever is happening, you hear batata Manevas Mumba who come and support. Kwebatawe, this our president you are talking about. He doesn't even eat bacon. That's coming from men of God. We can't expect anything from these men of God who are depending on brown envelopes. Church fero tubeshi ntibira monombevo abanga tulandirako. Niba Roman Catholic chapwa ayayambia ayashala takuri. Those brave men of God abashtanga balanda baba tamsha. We had that man of God from Seventh-day Adventist, that one who resigned. We don't know how he resigned. Where have you heard a man of God resigning from a church? It has never happened. It is only happening in a regime. mleumfa bahamasaka balelanda nokwe bati baleyumfa nokuyumfa okwe bati ba opposition tabakwete message mlefu atukwate jani message ifintu mwadi ikatilira ichipani cha PF mwe bachifurunga enyeni mwebo lero muleti nokuti nangu bafwale efya pink bafwale efya shani ni bamobene echo balefu ani chinchi echo tulefu tufunye pobufi. I was telling someone to say iyo balanda ati debt restructuring abene ichisungu icho chine balanda abene debt restructuring kwisa running away from responsibilities and paying out the debts. They are two different things. Alenseka, why UPNG? Ati ni skulu nshimama timu ayako. But restructuring doesn't mean that you are paying a debt. You are just running away from the responsibility of paying that debt. And how much money have you borrowed, you people? Balanda for your free education, to a free education. Free education, Balanda po yo ba mwamba. Na materials yama teachers tabakwata. If you go there, you will find that children now baba no fikopo. Free education where you can't even take your own children. You say that we've brought free education. When KK was doing free education, even his own children were going to the same schools that the Zambian people were going to. And you come here, you start bragging to say we've brought free education. What free education are you talking about? Ukuwalula abana nomboku bafya amajangi kapali fire chitika ba mwambawe ichalo chicha Zambia na chigwelera kuluma 10 years backwards epo tuperere nombe ngaba ba police abo beno bo mule bika manani kano without even telling the people nga campaign irendera pesa twebeni ayo ama materials ya donse na pamoja alliance na mwikatoko kuma boda mulekana fyonse mulekana. Iyo video mlerando kwa nga wasenda video. Ero bachi ntinya abene bafoyo kutinya abantu. Bafoyo abantu baleba pepa. Ambale so kwaba. Stene fyo mwala stopo mwala pera. But 13 August tuketa monana. With or without the police abobene tukamukuvota. Eto tulefwa before kuibubula. You have taught us for 5 years. We've endured because we knew to say a day will come when we will liberate ourselves. Neyo inapa kwa bati tuiste liberate again mlefo kubika po emingarata. Mwaba shani kashi mulibantu aba misango shani. Aba nenunga bareste fefyo mulesta nga mwale campaign imwe. Nga mwale pitano kuya bloka na presidential motaketi. Nga mwale ya bloka. Teri nga bali mikaka. Fimwe fintu mule yipusha. If you're feeling if you're molesta, Kesa and Yarukida, to the land that you also go back there, Namalos Muleta. Yakesa Yarukida in Mobene. Bamwamba, may God bless Zambia. We need the protection from God. Carry abantu naba to Fidwa. They can to be careful. Yon Semudi, so we know about Kumio. Not Totera.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Musenza Panja.
Tasebenza mlibwanji naye mwe Kambankoni.
Bueno, Mama Kendra calling within Lusaka.
My dear sister, my dear mother, make your contribution.
Ambassador chalo community ndastiziva. Nikambeko chitumbuka babanda Joshua ngati mukupulika babanda Joshua. Mwanipulikisika sonchomene babanda ba Joshua babanda. Paivi mwachita mwanipulikisika soni adumbu. Vachita kuipa maningi babanda siwana chitepu because babanda vaja venzonkala pafupi na vaisieo. Mwamene zoziwi ya babanda. Kambili venzopezeka na vaisieo. But muntu umozi wamene achita kuti apano alliance akamba akauza chape alliance akamuza kuti apana kuza vaso nono kulibe kushusha kuti ya vaso sivinga wame ni kuyopa maiti zankala bwanji ndeve munga chite hivi vamani of God vamene mwachita wonse basi tukapea niliti munkala kupupeti ati ti preaching apa peace tabantu tizikondana love your neighbor, love yourself as love your neighbor as you love yourself. Ndiye yamene ngankale kwa so. Sure serious. Omwandi sichinawame chamene vachita mwe vantu pali vaisiyewo sichinawame ndipo chintu chombesa nsoni chintu chodandaulisa koma vamailungu na famili yawo mulungu ava achita bwanji alipo sivaliveka olova vachiteso olo vatite reject mapemphero kuti ise sitizapezekako balibeka anthu but mulungu ali pafupi na famili yavandani yavachagwa sana vasilile mwamene vanafera vachagwa vakwanisa mailo vakwanisa 1 year mulungu ali pafupi na famili yavachagwa machechi muzatiuza chanisi ati one Zambia one nation basi muntu tinkhala titi aya achitava bwino vantu wayi muli so sure wayi muli so wayi naimwe vamacheches mwambochita ivi vabhanda naimwe mwambokonka vamene vachita vanzanu naimwe vamene ivi mwakonkerera andimwe vabhanda ndimwe mwanetezoona kuti muli na mtima wabwino but apa manje naimwe mwambokonka chifukwa chakuti muntu akuuzani kuti apa musachite ivi osayesa kuchita ivi musachite ivi basi naimwe mwamverera nikunkhala kwa bwanji kwamene chamene vanala kwa valungu ku vantu nchichani muntu timuzonde pa umoyo na paimfa ponse muntu vamuzonde so chabe chuwa wayi vachita so vamudala avazoona vamudala ava basi vatitungula tsikuti tiyaye valiche bwino vintu vyenda che bwino ndiye kwenda kwa vintu mushe ukushuwa mwe vantu ndemwe tizambonkhalira muchalo so chapi kuti muntu ngati akamba chabe ichi nichikwasira manje watumo kuti vapita apa tizakankhala bwanji andi mulungu ni mulungu elo nakupita sivazapita ni PM8 na MZ8 sivazapita because vamene vachita mulungu sakondwera ngati vachita vabwino ku vantu sembe mulungu akondwera manje ava mudala vazakasiya ligasi ya bwanji yabwino loni family kwawo loni pachalo pano vantu vazakakamba chani chamene vazakakamba wa muntu ufuka uchita vabwino so that vantu vakakumbukira vaisiye kuti vakumbukira muntu sangaipe vonse sangawame vonse but chivakumbukira vaisiye upa vamene venzi uchita chikumbuka maningi kuti ukakumbuka kuti zona vatatu zona vanaenda vaisiye venze na mtima wachipuku na vantu wa muntu uzingana mtima wachifundo na vantu uziganizira vanzako chapita pamuzako maachiri paliwe vaambasada vamwamba kulibe muntu wamene sana jepo rice munyumba chamene nakambira so chakuti muntu aliyense ngani yaimva sipita chabe uko akapena mwamene inaonera vamama Esther Lungu izapelera pali vamama Esther Lungu pamene paja no muntu wamene akambe kuti ine sina kulepo rice mimba mwanga ndiye wamene azakamba kuti ine naimfa sizakanifika chifukwa chamene vachita vamudala vasi chintu chabwino kusisa na vamachechi onse kuti no basi na vamachechi vamverera kani mabrown amene mamapasa mabrown endelu kusika ni chani kaya kulibena kuti vakaneko kuti vamene vichitika sibabwino muntu umozi shuwa vonse vaziyopa kumushusha ni muntu wa mtundu bwanji unangala bwanji vonse vantu vaziyopa kuti tikavashusha avanishawa mwani tizangala koma mulungu azati yangana PM8 MZ8 vabwera pa 13th August vamwamba ungakambisa bevambiri ungawako musevenze bwino.
Thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make a contribution.
Good evening, Wamamba.
Good evening.
This is Aben Zugo. I'm calling you from Monze.
Yes, my brother.
Let me also be a part and a parcel of this program. Wamamba, I am first of all, very disappointed with our president, Hakainde Hichilema. We thought when we voted for this man, we thought maybe we are going to change, as a Tonga, we supported him. But to be honest, what we have seen, what we have heard, it is totally a disappointment. It's an embarrassment. I know I did not like Lungu, but now I can tell you that Lungu was even 100 times far much better than this evil man. Bamwamba, as a Tonga, even today to stand and pronounce myself to other people is an embarrassment. That's a division that he has caused. That's a division that he has brought on us. Yes, we did not agree with the previous government in the way other things were happening. Perhaps it was on a tribal point of view. To the church today, where we as people, we at one point went to church. Even the Bible tells us that when you have a problem, come to me. And these bishops, they are such a letdown. But Makhando, we know that he has been a cadre for UPND. But even though we know there's even that man, what's his name, the Kaunde man, Bishop Mususu. Bishop Mususu even came out very strong and distanced himself how much he hated ECL. But when we expected him to give guidance, because as a church, you should give guidance to the best of your ability and based Bible, but they have turned their back, just like the previous callers mentioned that they have embraced the brown envelopes. This is disrespecting and an embarrassment. I was with Makhando in my church at the time. He was a youth pastor, and I agree that indeed he did not move away in the right way. And whatever happens, I see him as a businessman, not as a church, as a pledge. When people thought Banda maybe can do better, even him is in the same plate. He's doing contrary. And indeed, the Bible says that the judgment shall stand in the house of God. Indeed, these people, they have betrayed you, Lungu family. They are a shame, they are an embarrassment to this country. In my ending remarks, Ambassador Mamba, I want you, at one time on this program, I heard you speaking how this country was formed, even the names and how it was brought about. I want you to educate us. It's nothing but a country that God himself has ordained. Maybe we are forgotten. Please, we are lost as a country because of this evil brother of mine. I'm 70 and above. He is an evil president we have never seen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. People are reprimanding me in my comments. In the comments, I was reading the comments. They said I'm not allowing people to speak. Sometimes I have to give guidance. And sometimes when an untruth has been spoken and I know it is not true, I do make the correction. It's not that I want to hinder. Remember, the whole purpose of this program is to let our people speak. That is the purpose of this program. It's not to hinder you. So I thought I could make that clarification. Okay, let's go so that I've put on the screen, if you can see on the screen, there is a CCZ General Secretary, Reverend Canon James Phiri. He has also issued a statement. This is a Council of Churches in Zambia Secretary General, General Secretary as they call them. This is what he has said. Literally, like I stated, like it looks like a script. It looks like a script was written from State House, then distributed to people to say the same things. So this is what Reverend Canon James Phiri has issued. He says the Council of Churches in Zambia has taken note of the proposed national memorial activities being organized in honor of the late 6th Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. CCZ wishes to clarify that it is neither participating nor endorsing the proposed national memorial activities. This position is informed by the fact that late former president has not been laid to rest. The Council's considered view is that the nation's immediate priority should be to facilitate a dignified, honorable, and mutually agreeable solution to the outstanding matter surrounding the burial of the former head of state. Sure, we should prioritize now. Where have you been the last 1 year? Why haven't you been as vocal as stopping a memorial service? Why haven't we seen your vibrancy when it comes to condemning or even publicly telling the president to stay away? At least the previous General Secretary told the president, I have a video here and I'll play it. He was very clear. He said, Mr. President, if the family wishes that you stay away, please stay away. Your predecessor at least spoke for the people and for the family. But Reverend Canon James Phiri here, he says, let me quote what is important here. They are saying that, I want where they are saying that a memorial cannot take place before burial. In our understanding, memorial activities are more appropriately held after burial has taken place. If you know, when the pilot was missing in Iran, there was a special church service praying for his safe return. That's what you do. They didn't know whether he was alive or dead, but the church immediately gathered in Washington and prayed for the safe return of that pilot. The late president, we still don't have his body. The matters are locked up in court. President Hakainde Hichilema has failed to provide leadership on this. It's been 1 year. People cannot gather and remember the late president. And to whose benefit is a memorial? Is this even biblical? Maybe make your contribution and tell us the verse that these two churches with a uniform script which they've issued is saying. That's Reverend Canon James Phiri. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Charles Waria.
Mr. Waria, make your contribution.
My contribution is that from looking at the things on how this issue has been conducted by the government and the churches, we believe the churches represent communities. Yeah, they represent communities, but the way the government has been taking this matter, it is not good. And we don't know where we are going as the nation, because from the way we are seeing things in our country, it is scattered. We believe in unity and harmony. The church is there to guide the people. A church is not a political party. When the government of the day is not right, the church, they stand up. But now, the churches have turned to be politicians. That's why, Ambassador, we have got no direction. The church was supposed to bring unity and harmony between the family and the government, but which is not the case. The church is sidelined with the government. They are not there to help the Leti family of ECL. If they claimed in the court of law to say, we want to give him a dignified burial, they were supposed in the first place to be sure to be seen by their fruits. But what we are saying, our Manding, it's not good. We are very far away from reality. And the churches nowadays are scared of the government of the day. We don't know where they stand. They cannot speak for the people. I give a thumb to the Catholic Church, how they have been standing up to say no to the injustice, the ongoing confusion in the country. The Catholic is there to stand up for the people. But all these churches, I don't know if they have the envelopes. I don't know. I don't know where we are going. The church has become corrupt to an extent of when they see money, they cannot stand and tell the government. Ambassador, I can just take you into the Bible. When you remember very well what King David did. King David, when he killed Uriah, Prophet Nathan, God sent him. God sent Prophet Nathan. Can you hear me, Ambassador?
Yes, you are alive, my brother. Continue.
Yes. So God sent Prophet Nathan to give rebuke and to tell off the king. Why? They served the living God. Prophet Nathan was not on the side of the king just because this is the king, he has got power, he has got what? No. He stood on the ground. You have murdered, and God shall punish you. And the child that you shall have out of this child, this woman shall not live. Prophets, men of God, are there to give counsel to the leaders according to what God is saying. If churches are scared to confront the leaders, they are not in the right state. And I can assure you the church in Zambia, it is crippled. They are scared. What is happening is because the blame goes to the church. When our late president wanted to incite some laws, the Catholic Archbishop, he stood up and said, Mr. President, this is wrong. And I'm so surprised the SDAs, they are quiet. Which God do they serve? If men of God can hear my voice, I'm here to challenge you. Bring order. Bring order in our nation. Bring order in our nation. We don't want what is happening. We don't want. All we need, confront the head of state. Advise him with a wise counsel. King David, he had Prophet Samuel to guide him. Which God are you serving as men of God in our nation? Are you giving guidance to the head of state? Are you giving counsel to him? Ambassador, thank you so much. I may have many things to say. Let me give platform to other people. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Family will be concluding the program. I'll take maybe another 5 or so set of calls. Tomorrow at the Regina Pacis Catholic Church in Chawama, there is a memorial service that is being held in honor of the late president. Provinces are expected to hold similar memorials, but whereas we've seen in frantic efforts by both CCZ and EFZ, they've banned their members, they've banned their followers, they've banned their sanctuaries, they've banned their places of worship to be used, and they've threatened to punish any of their leaders, clergy, who will participate in this process. Last month, answering what CCZ and EFZ are saying, last month, a solemn prayer and memorial service for the late president was held at Praise Christian Center. Was there a body there when a memorial was held at Praise Christian Center last month? How can they say we cannot allow the memorial to take place because there is no body that and the late president hasn't been put to rest? Is that biblical? You know, like Jesus Christ said, maybe it's time to flip the tables. So we'll be concluding. I'll invite the last callers to come on, and there have been other developments that we usually discuss current affairs here. The major issue is Gary Nkombo has resigned from the UPND. You are aware that the law requires that an independent MP must resign from their party 2 months before elections. 2 months before elections will be 13th June. So you either be disqualified by ECZ if you have not resigned, or you have to offer a resignation, and Gary Nkombo has opted to resign from UPND, and he will continue to stand as an independent MP. There have been a court ruling on independent MPs where Isaac Mwanza wanted the 103 MPs candidature to be nullified. The court has thrown out that application. It didn't meet on procedure. It didn't meet any of the procedural requirements. So the court has not even attended to the argument. They've just thrown. But ECZ issued guidance and stated that those candidates who belong to the other parties but are standing as independent, they have up to 13th June to resign. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution. Hello, caller. Yes, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give your contribution.
I'm calling from Johannesburg. I just want to.
Yes, my brother.
Father, we pray. We thank you for them. You have a covenant with this nation. We are not just a nation that came into existence, but we're a nation that has a covenant. Lord, your servants have turned their back on this nation. Your leaders have fraternized with idols, and your people do not have a direction. Others, Lord, bow to idols. Others bow to celestial bodies. But as a nation, we covenanted that only you will be our God. We are at a time where we do not know what's next is going to happen in this nation. Father, emotions are high. We feel lost. But Lord, we remember that we have a covenant with you. And we pray that based on that covenant, remember this nation. That put to shame all the plans of the enemy. That those that gather in secret places, Lord, to determine evil over this nation shall be brought back to shame. That, Lord, you expose all wickedness. You expose all evil plans of people over this nation. That indeed, oh God, just like you deliver this nation from its beginning, you will deliver this nation where we are going. We thank you because you are faithful and you've been faithful over this nation. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Someone just called from Johannesburg and felt the need to pray for our nation. He says that country has a covenant with our Lord Jesus Christ. And he says he's literally invoking on Christ himself to rise because his prophets, his men of God have betrayed that cause. And what a powerful prayer. After this, let me just play the tribute to the late president, and then I invite the last 5 callers.
June 5th, 2025. That's the date he took his last breath. And over 365 days have gone by. No resting place, no final peace. Just petty, vindictive politics. My fellow Zambians, look at what they're doing to our very own. This is not who we are. We gotta get our country back. Hey, they think we don't see their bitterness. Even the youth know about their pettiness. Over 12 months since the leader passed away, but that man is still blocking his burial today. Twisted the law just to settle an old score, keeping the helpless widow crying at the door. You think you are flexing your power, lifting the bar, but you've just shown everybody how hateful you are. Chagwalungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagwalungu, the grudges they keep. This is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this story on election day. Chagwalungu, Chagwalungu, we are not going home. Chagwalungu, Chagwalungu, until you let him go. Chagwa, Chagwa, let the man rest. Chagwa, Chagwa, let the man rest. We country back. Go to Chawama, go anywhere in the land. When a man dies, we shake each other's hand. You drop the argument, you show some respect. That's the basic decency that we expect. But one angry man wants to play a wicked game, trying to erase the former president's name. If they can treat a statesman with this much hate, don't even think they'll care about your fate. Chagwalungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagwalungu, the grudges they keep. This is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this.
Thank you very much. I'll play that tribute towards the end. I can see my phone is buzzing. People still want to speak. But someone asked me that, can you just briefly recount the life of our country and his covenant with our Lord Jesus Christ? You will remember the famous David Livingstone. You know, the Victoria Falls is the one that named it, and he was the first white man to see it. And he had two loyalists who he was moving with. You remember Chuma and Susi. Many people think that they are either Ilas or Tongas. I can't remember what the history says. But on May 1st, you know, it's been 153 years. On May 1st, 1873, at the age of 60, David Livingstone was going back to the coast, because they used to walk all the way up to Dar es Salaam, where then he would catch a ship to Europe, back to England. He was a Scottish explorer commissioned by the king. But on that festive day, on May 1st, 1873, plagued by malaria and dysentery, and he was so weakened. So he asked Chief Chitambo there in Serenje. Chitambo now is a new district. And he asked if they could give him a place to rest. And you know, our people are very hospitable. He was with Chumi and Susi and other helpers. And he lay on his knees and died. But he recorded a prayer about where he was. And this is what he says. He said, Lord, on this land where I rest my bended knees, let it become a mighty Christian nation, a beacon of hope to the African continent, and a light to the rest of the world. There was no northern province, no northern Rhodesia at the time. This is 1873. Remember, the first time there is any agreement about this land is in 1890 with King Lewanika. So this is many years before. But David Livingstone's prayer was that, Lord, on this land where I rest my bended knees, let it become a mighty Christian nation, a beacon of hope to the African continent, and a light to the rest of the world. It cannot be what it has become, where it's darkness to the rest of the world, where we are now being ridiculed, where you have men of God speaking for evil instead of speaking for Christ, where you have men of God who are not speaking for the widow and the orphan and the weak, but are speaking and standing for the powerful, justifying the narrative of the powerful. It's time to flip the tables. And let me take your last call. And how did Zambia become a Christian nation? Another asked. It's from this foundation, 153 years ago. So when you see Dr. Kaunda in 1964, a day before independence, dedicates a new flag and takes it to the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, at the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross, and deposits it, and they have a special service to dedicate the new country that would be born the following day back to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. He's walking in the path and prophecy of David Livingstone. That prophecy said on his bended knees in Chitambo, in Serenje. When you see Dr. Kaunda come the following year and writes that emotional story that Zambia will be dedicated to God. Look at that letter. I published it, a 1965 letter commemorating Zambia's first year anniversary. Of course, then Dr. Kaunda, begins to seek other gods. He explores other gods, invites other gurus, and you saw what happened in the late 80s. And God himself rose to restore our country back to God. Raised Dr. Frederick Chiluba. When you see, before that, let me speak to the ministry of Dr. Nevas Mumba. He might be regarded and disregarded now, but the Lord played the key role on Nevas Mumba in the 80s, where he gave him a mission that Zambia shall be saved. And he became a rallying and crying voice, especially for the evangelicals and for the growth of the evangelicals. We saw those big, we used to call them crusades, where Reverend Bonke and others began to come to our country. They are all walking in the light of that prophecy. And you see that a new president that emerges from that spiritual movement is Frederick Chiluba. And what does Frederick Chiluba do? Immediately on 29th December, a few days after he won that election, he declared Zambia a Christian nation. A thing that David Livingstone had prophesied many, 100 years before. Dr. Chiluba, many of us attribute Dr. Chiluba's declaration, that is the one that declared Zambia a Christian nation. But if you remember the words of David Livingstone 100 years before, you can even credit David Livingstone as the one that literally declared our nation as a Christian nation. And when you see Mwanawasa come in, and there was a force to remove the Christian declaration in our constitution. Mwanawasa, who they expected would remove it, he didn't remove it. He strengthened it and even became a Baptist. Remember, he was Jehovah's Witness. He even converted and became a Baptist and affirmed Zambia's declaration of a Christian nation. Then remember when Rupiah Banda, he didn't do much in relation to the spiritual standing of our country, but he also affirmed in the constitutional process that was going on that he would retain Zambia as a Christian nation. You saw in 2011 when President Michael Sata rose, he said, I will rule on the basis of the 10 Commandments. Edgar Lungu, wow, what a spiritual leader. He says we'll build a temple for the church, we'll build a church, a national church, non-interdenominational, where people will pray. He declared October 18th as a day for fasting, reconciliation, and just a national day of prayer. He restored God back to the front of the politics. 2021, we have seen even President Hakainde Hichilema, whatever we accuse him of, he has said we will uphold Zambia as a Christian nation. The funders and sponsors expected him to accept, the alphabet, as we call that community of the alphabet, and to allow those gay rights. President Hakainde Hichilema, whatever his faults in this, he has said it will not happen. And the declaration of Zambia as a Christian will go. He has proceeded to declare even 29th December, the day that President Frederick Chiluba declared as a day of national prayer. Zambia as a Christian nation. A public holiday to remember that Zambia is a Christian nation. Evil that is currently reigning will be swept away. This is God's own apple. The apple of his eye is Zambia in Africa. And it's not my word. You should look at what David Livingstone said about our land. It shall be a beacon of hope and a light to the world. It will be a beacon of hope for Africa and a light to the world. So those are not small words. Let me go back to the calls. I know people are calling because I said I'll be closing. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
Ichakubalila, thank you for bringing this wonderful program at this crucial moment. Ilio Icharo Chonse tule losha infumu ikalamba iya bikira abantu bonse pamoja mpezeni. Lekeni umwe wabo utushe muchibote. Another thing also, it is important on the evil of one of the great sons of this soil, Uwatekele Chalo, pamiaka 7 wa late President Edgar Lungu, ilo tulebe bukisha, utukalebe bukisha mailo bakwanya umwaka umo. Nomba chimuwa mwambecho na lala ndako, infwa, bwile wakwalesa, kabililesa, ewa ishiba chila muntu na umo inshita akatwita pesa mbali ya chalo. Nelio tuwaikala pesa mbali ya chalo atupela inshita no butungulushi. Tufile tuwaishibo kweba ati. Ubu shiku bwesu bwelelo. Ubu amailo wakwalesa. Echa linga sana ilo tuleste fifionse tule tontonkanya. Ba mwamba, it's a very disgrace and very disappointing. Today, twala kwata utubungwe, utulolesha pamashu ya kwalesa. Utubungwe tuwapalanga wa Zambia Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia na CCZ. Aba bantu bafile bayimini na pachishinka no kuleta umutende. Just as the ceremony on the mountain, Ilio Yeswala, and that only peacemakers shall be called children of God. Bamwamba liti pone shamu mchalo. First, I want to ask, when the Evangelical Fellowship came up with a decision, Augusta instruct all the member churches that Bekwata Memorial Service, where did they got the consensus? Because all the charismatic or Pentecost churches, members church, bali we push kweba each swala chitashan. Nangu shechi chinto. Chifumine kuli Bishop Mususu, Paul Mususu, na Bishop Imakando, na Joshua Banda. Because abantu Eva Monakwati EFZ Yabo, and whatever they can sit 3 of them and think Bonseva Konka. HOSU atwebelo kweba ati muchenje labala bikama bokupa mitwe yenu. Vengi abala itungo kubange ntungulushi na washima pepo, but mukati mwabo mwaba fimbi. This is the same applicable to even CCZ. Bamwamba twalikwete ba Jafet Njovu, twalikwete ba Reverend Susan Matali. They stood for the people. They stood for vulnerable people. Not abatukwete aba batuliemo. Tubale tuwebo kweba tuila chetekela sana mubantu abe mini na kuntanshi. Pantu bale abantu kuti batuwisha, they can disappoint you. Ngefinefi achitika. Teti mukanye ukwibukisha omuntu afuma pesa mbali ya chalo umulandu wakweba ati you have got the political affiliation. Ngefine mulandire bamwamba ila statement, it was draft from State House no kubapela. Eba chimbecho nalai bukisha kwa wena Zambia ba Bishop Paul Mususu bali patasa na leadership here from the northern region. Ngamulei Wukisha, even during 2001, he was in the forefront pushing the Oasis Forum. But after Chiluba's 3rd term, he came so very close and supporting Mwanawasa. When Mwanawasa died, Barupia Banda Baba president, Paul Mususu Bali start withdraw. When Wasata became president, it even became worse. So you abantu tube shive nentampulo shabo n'emimonekele yabo nga twakulabako nga tukawafye nabo. Iyi kile kitika mu Zambia tuleetipwa mu Zambia muno kapali fene shuko twala kwata tuleyangala n'enfwa iyo mwinelesa asala alisala pochira muntu ali mupangira obushiku bakufuma pesa mbali ya chalo ero kile mnakwati imbi president lungu bali lufyenye vintu ifyo katuishe cho bali lufyenye pesa mbali ya chalo fye ichakuwa tabena Zambia fe batukaka twafyo kushova TV tule chitefi aidha litipo olishamo ilishamo tetilimonekele lolimbi but kunta nshoko tukaya lesa kesa ilula ifitule chita mulumisa mbele ya chalo tuilashe teka lesa ukula itechi chalo ate Zambia as a Christian nation. It's just a Christian nation at mouth by paper but image kile Yesu hivi no muntu shia kucheichi awamapo. Thank you Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Ninebo Chanda Pa North Media. I'm asking that if you may allow us that this discussion can go on tomorrow, because the fact that we are discussing the clergy, who many of us belongs to, and maybe this could be a platform to express ourselves, because we cannot express ourselves in church. We know things, but we cannot come out in church. But we find this platform to be very useful, that we can speak. But may you please give us more time that we can discuss it further. If it means tomorrow, if it means even bringing those fools on this program, let it be, so that we speak to their face, that they should hear on the hot seat. Thank you.
I think we will have a discussion tomorrow. We'll see how the Lord blesses us with time. We will discuss this matter tomorrow. Now, let me go to the phone lines and take the calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening. Mkwaimayo kwa kaputa landeni po.
Natotera sana na pusha bonse bakonfa kumulaba soyi tungashe sondation session mbereleko. Abene Zambia ekintu kyatuponera munfa y'abalungu kyaleta obukali bwapusana ku mitima. Na pano omwaka wayira ikunta panshi obukali bombi obupya bwayisa. Na pala turefa yati tuwe tonto nkanyati kimbi kikintu kyalasendelwako nandi kwekibemba mwaka se, meaning in a lighter way. Ero nomba kyakosesha kyatunga pala pene kire kalipisha ati yo memorial service kyaba nefe na tubale tubwekele kulubali lwa Christianity. Ikipingo fe cheka okufuma ku Genesis okufika kuri Revelation kushita ya New Testament. Memorial service ubo abo yaperere pofiti obumi ni Yesu mwine kukututubuka. Twali ba denominations pusana ba Katolika, ba Pente, ba Watchtower, ba SDA, ba Lutheran, ba Baptist inkuta ishinge mkwai. Nomba memorial service Yesu Kristo ili afuire, because we are Christians tuitwa personally out to conquer. If you mwana pa social media generation yelelo followers of so and so, having you are followers of Christ. So abale konka Yesu abasambi bakwe nabala bonse abasambi bala 12 number tubike po bala like bana mayo abale pokela ukwafa umpingo wakwa Yesu Kristo, like ba Joanna Chuza tumfati bali bakashiba bakankala ba Mary Magdalene au bafumishe mwefu banda 7 ba Priscilla n'abalume ba Aquila, between the two bali ma tent makers kwati filefi alipo nomba ababantu ilo Yesu afuire umwaka wapindurukire abalya ama apostles out of the disciples takwali abaishileteka ukupepa bakwibushe mfa yakwa Yesu Kristo. Bible tefo ikita record ifo nga efyo nalomba bali bonse to correct me kuti batuma papene pamulabasa lelo Yesu Kristo alishile ukulaibushe mfa yakwe yako pantu untu watutubuka alitutubuke kumfa nomba Mungu to kupatulukana how we interpret the Bible differently in different denominations emwalenga tusumine sana muli memorial service ya mutemwika wesu ufuyire tulachitafe mumachecha ya pusana bonse pena mundu pana mumafamilies bambi nomba balabika na 10th memorial yakwa shikulu or 20 years ago apo shikulu afuyirire bala bantu tubaleke firafine tuiba sansa. Now coming back kuli aba katika wesu ba Edgar Lungu abapali okupakaswa kuli okukulu sana bakilanda formally before ine bakilanda nde mfano bukali kumutima obubekete okubati Zambia ni Christian nation nombe michitire yesu taile paranefu, so we should not be calling ourselves Christians. Obwesho wishila abena Kristo. After the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation mukanwa kabachiruba kwalishiri obwesho obukulu sana ba Zambia national team balifuyile ichirirwe ekikulu for the whole nation na pera fyo example ya kutila muwe na Kristo mwali ba amesho ayengi lelo twaliitwa okutila ngu twaishiwa tatufire okubembuka. Back to memorial service abasambi bakwa Yesu Kristo bala ama apostles abalimbe chipifu for the four gospels first tapali walandile pwefo Yesu abibili okuti bakaleyibushe mfa yakwe. It's Paul who came to teach in 1 Corinthians 11 bali Holy Communion ichintamba mchiteni chilionse mkunjukisha Yesu when he was about to be arrested in Garden of Gethsemane kwate ichintamba na ma disciples yakwe tuleyeni nalanda na pawa kumutabisha Judas Iscariot. Ichintamba Paul who was taught about the Holy Communion mumupashi but Paul was persecuting abena Kristo, but when Jesus appeared to him when Paul bali mufundile fyonse bamufundile including ukukwata Holy Communion but bamufundile ukuyibushe mfa ya muntu umbi. Jesus Christ alichiteko participate in the deaths of others balaba widow ba sister bene Paul lintu ma sisters yakwa ulia Lazarus afudile baya mututubusha. No need for memorial service. Memorial service ya isamuma denominations tuaba tajaba biblical imfa yakwa Yesu Kristo ali tutuwike memorial yisa bantu. That's where we base our Christianity. If Christ didn't resurrect no kweshiwa kutuleti tuwaishiwa but tuwapusukako ngateti bantu mwago okupusukira mukweshiwa mumutende wakwa Yesu Kristo the Prince of Peace wa Twitter ukuti tukwache omutende wakwe uwesondelisha ishiba such that na muri fifire chitika muchalo Mzambia apo tule pusunzukako panondo ipa mutende wakwa Yesu kuli bakapepa balefu kama mumayanda na mumukutaisha pusana. Now na tila ndandile ko bashima pepo bonse abo tulependa ndemo na postings yamuyalanda ti bashima pepo nomba ma UPND cadres awu mwebe na Zambia bwesheni mitima ubwesho wishira fweba pepa. So abena Kristo nga mwaba persecuted hold on ikatilireni kuli Kristo mwine muyaya mbokula sonkolomo muikalira. It's the same thing in families omo tufyalwa mulesa amesho yako bati mwapusana mulabwine mukati kashumire teri okupusana wakunse umulwani. Now ababa ashima pepo bambi nangu mwaba munata bemisheko akanwa pafuira balungu kusonda pachirubo cha buteko nangu pachirubo cha family nangu kuchita defend family nangu kuchita defend government lekeni fi pantu weshero wisa chila muntu wiso wa mulinga mumoneko na amashi muri 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation that has overtaken you or me that is not common. Alongside the temptation, God will make a way. Mukutila chila mwina Kristo ali kwata obwesho bwakwe bakateka wesu ilelo ni ba elder ku church ba na obali kwata obwesho bwabo ubalingile na imwe bonse mwe bashala na babonza ama pastors and reverends abo tuletira nishita balandire kuli chichintu bemye ukulingana na ma garments bafuikwa aya wite bwabo bulya ngana balanda kutukwate memory abalungu mwe bantu bakwalesa ichinga pero mutende kuli balungu family today na influence bakumako the memorial service. That's a beautiful thing to look at. But if anything, chirashura no kulosha kumbi. But tuimana echala kose chef yakosa. Ichala yangusha fiance if tuapita mtu akakana na pamfo ya balungu. Let's go back to campaign and remove ubuteko bwashasha shemitende Yesu. We can't see ourselves to ever live under this government another 5 years. No, in Jesus' name. I don't even want to pronounce it that way. Nalomba kuna imo wonso kutira twiratira ingo ubuteko tabwapita in Jesus' name.
Tawa kapite. Awe. We need a David in Jesus' name. I am sure tamwitimu ya weshe inga Herod actually aletina abakupempula Yesu. Herod ale pusha kuli mfumu na imbi fierwe ni nani winga fialwa na chuka na twala kusukololo bumbi. Nani winga fialwa pushe teine wine mfumu. Some people see themselves as the first and the last of presidents in this country of Zambia. No. Unless Jesus comes today, then we shall have the last ruling party and president as President Hakainde and UPND. But if Jesus tarries, we still have to have more presidents and different political parties. Whether we like it or not. Twamfa, elo, ukulalira sana pali bashima pepo. Panti bashima pepo na baba nokupakaswa. Baba na amesho, ukulingana n'obwite bwabo. So, mwishina mfumu Yesu Kristo na bachitako defendi. Mwe batu kwasa. Apali ba Bishop Alec Banda, patali sana. Nga mwamuna basusuka ku mulimo muno muzambia bali tamfya mushima pepo achita resign ku SDA pantu alande ekishinka tachiwanisha ekishinka okulanda muzambia ekyo babikako nefundira cyber law fyanza ifintu fya kunkuma nefya kuchinja abantu oti disqualified church remember political party yakwa Saint Banda Sean Banda Tembo ni church. In 2021, I did contest on the same political party as a presidential candidate. It was never a church. But these 5 years that UPND it's now a church. So he can't apply for presidential candidature under that party. So if I make sure I attend question, uyumbi bamukanya yo pantu walipata bankruptcy record uyumbi bamukanya yo ishinali pantu niwe wobwalya chanda but pala pambi walembesha chanda bwalya. Oh my Lord and my God, tuingi tuamlisamvu tatupua. So vena eba sonta pastu lugotwa abantu every time bale chitechin to ku michingiro kuti muyentanji. Awe, we are the same voters that voted. Okay, ne ndio bale vote akaunda shali shila wako. But then I voted twice in the counter time. So yonse tulavota tulachinja obuteko nga twachinjisha obuteko bwa kaunda neline tukachinja ukutupangira cyber law alakano nga tuleyima tuletukana nomba tatutukana ifo tulanda pafilubo. It's the same thing mu parliament bwase mwali mwene kuti ba opposition nga bati balande babakanja. If the opposition in the 20 years that UPND has been in opposition was as hard as the utungulishi wa UPND wali mu parliament ba UPND nga bali muna po buteko wabo mwana ngata babu mwene bale kita block everywhere they are bale yangasha abantu kwati tuma ping pong uyuma osamba abuko kumairo uyumaino abuko internet is full of things that when you hear na munda mwabukuma na appetite yako ya yapwa where you feel a burden for your nation kwati burden ya musengelo obiweka but chalo kulule fayo kupepela. So imwe bantu technical yokulanguluka pali ifintu byose twapenduluka. We have to go back to God. Isendi bonse kuli Yesu Kristo. Isendi bonse tupepe. That's what will help us change ifintu muzambio. Bantu ngamwayo lekisha papene pa internet ngamwayapo. Bafimba upoke. Balaba ishile sana nechimwera mu 2021. Namba muna wale positive they don't have confidence in themselves. Na landrepo once pano nati uteko tabukwete icho lesson tapo icho bwavomba echo bale chinjisha na mashina ya fintu ifya banabo bavomba kali because tabakwete kwe fyabo. Okay, so
Mayo Natasha, thank you Mwewena Kaputa. Thank you Mwewena Kaputa Natasha sana, thank you. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mwamba Mwawombeni.
Never
nameless.
Nameless, make your contribution.
Thank you so much. Well, Mwamba, before I could say anything, I would like to extend my support to Mama Esther Lungu and her family. Yeah, Vengekala Muchibote. We need to, to support them so much. Being a woman, I know what she's been going through. It's so shocking. There are so many issues in Zambia that you don't even know which one to pick on to talk about. If I have a Tata Lungu, I think it's just the part of it. Fiance village tikawa ma bale chitafe influence no kweva twamonyo kweva ti abantu bafulwe nga bafulwa ewe fintu fifulungane. So ifo fwebe na Zambia, fwebe shive ifintu efo fili, tufuile tukwate patience. Pantunga tuwakwata patience, ala yafwa. Muibefi ifi akulwa. Pantunga mwala wefi akulwa, nishi ama elections yala onaika. Umlandu wako bati balelo lisha sana fintu ifingi ifi akufulunga nyafye. Elo ba mwamba, ukwibukisha umuntu wafwa, it's part of our life, it's part of our living. Ifi abantu bafuye baishi, batwebukisha abantu bonse abafwa. Ba mwamba, I'm taking you back to the 70s. I can't remember the time it happened because I was very young by then. I'm one of those people who lost an uncle in Florida disaster. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Bamwamba. I can't remember. Yeah, Mkwaye. I'm one of them who lost my uncle. Yeah, and that was my first uncle. Bamwamba, we were neighbors in Mufrira because I was born in Mufrira. We were neighbors. Since then, Bamwamba, we have never seen not even a bone. But to this day, we still remember when it happened. We still remember my uncle. We just imagine him the way he was, and he was very young. He was only 20 years old.
Mayo,
because I remember
Idia disaster yachitike Mufulira disaster. It happened in September 1970. Busho mubiri waba yama wenubali usanga.
Mkwai na nomba waba femila mwine mchilongoma. Kaili bonse fweba ikere kulia kuka mchanga, fweba ikere kuti, kaili bonse abantu bale bomba maini. Kanshi Mufulira yonse yalikwete chiliro. To this day, takwa banangu boni nangu imwe yafu. Malelo tulebukisha, tuladilanga, tuaibukisha. Takwaba ukukana ibukisha abantu abafwa. This is the only thing I wanted to remind. Abwaba lela ndokwe bati, teti mupange memorial ukwabulo okushika. Nga bali abantu bestu, alitala tubamonapo. Tubamonapo. To this day tubamonapo nangui boni, nangu fiedi imo. So if nachira fukulanda. So kanshi ifile chitiko kuchalo kumiesu ba mwamba na fichiramo. Tufuile tuababa kosa. Pantu instead tufikirepo ili very sensitive pantu balefo kufulunga nyasara pakati abantu bafulu lero tubyava kosa ifo nyingalanda fiba mwamba. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
This is Precious Inongyamgaita from Livingston.
Precious, make your contribution.
First and foremost, I want to encourage the family to our former president, Mr. Edgar Chagwa, to continue being strong and just put your trust in God. With God, all things are possible. Coming to this Bishop Namaka, I don't know if it's Namakando or whatever, that one from Bread of Life. I'm disappointed with that man because if it was other people, they were not even supposed to come out in that manner. They know that Walungu, he died a painful death, and now they can say that there is no need of remembering him. What was the meaning of that? And why do they even call themselves pastors? This is not right. You know, this is the reason why most of the people these days, they don't believe in these men of God. They're just there, just to fool the nation. It's not right. Some of us were hurt because Walungu was a very good man, and he was a man who never used to choose who he should love or who he should not have. He interacted with each and everyone, including them when they were still. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's very, very painful. Family, Is there anyone who wishes to call? I missed a lot of calls. I'm so sorry. We can only take so many calls, but sometimes the callers, stay on the line far longer, and then have so many missed calls. I'm so sorry, but we have to close. We may hold a special broadcast tomorrow.
We are saddened, as I've stated, from some named groupings who want to bring confusion, especially this time around when we are mourning Ngwenyama, Nkosiyama Nkosi. There are people who are planning tomorrow, Friday, as they arrive at our airport, Chipata. They have mobilized motorbike riders for them to gain mileage from the airport, probably up to Ipenduke, which is an head off. If those plans are there, can they stop? Because now they are going to see the other side of the police. You cannot gain mileage probably up to Ipenduke, which is an head off. If those plans are there, can they stop? Because now they are going to see the other side of the police. You cannot gain mileage out of lawlessness. My officers and I were not sleeping. And this information is credible, is valid, authentic. Because we are working with our dear people.
Mundubile, 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 mundubile. Chor. Mundubile, mundubile. So I'm your malushi, young Samarabish. So I'm your malushi, young Samarabish. So I'm your malushi, young Samarabish. So I'm your malushi. June 5th, 2025. That's the date he took his last breath. And over 365 days have gone by. No resting place, no final peace. Just petty, vindictive politics. My fellow Zambians, look at what they're doing to our very own. This is not who we are. We gotta get our country back. Whoa. Hey, they think we don't see their bitterness. Even the youth know about their pettiness. Over 12 months since the leader passed away, but that man is still blocking his burial today. Twisted the law just to settle an old score, keeping the helpless widow crying at the door. You think you are flexing your power, lifting the bar, but you just shown everybody how hateful you are. Shagwalungu, they won't let you sleep. Shagwalungu, the grudges they keep. This is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this story on election day. Shagwalungu, Shagwalungu, we are not going home. Shagwalungu, Shagwalungu, until you.
Thank you very much. We'll be closing the program tomorrow. There's a memorial service for the late president. It will be held at Regina Passes, St. Regina Passes Catholic Church in Chawama. When you have a moment, please go and be with Tasila Lungu and members of the family that will be remembering the late president in Chawama. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, caller. Make your contribution.
Yes, this is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, make your contribution.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba Your Excellencies, we thank you for the good work that you are doing. When you see what is happening in this country, when you see the people who are supposed to stand on behalf of the voiceless, choose to side with where Anna is leaking, then we have a problem. At one time when I heard people like Bishop Joshua Banda were sent to South Africa to negotiate, I said this is just a joke and it's a mocker to the family, because the person who sent them is somebody who does not have a spirit of give and take. For him, once he sends people to negotiate, it's a question of making sure that those people they are negotiating with bow to what he wants. That is it about the leader that we have today. For him, if he makes a step and he stands on this point, that's it. There's nothing like that. This side sacrifice one step. This the other side sacrifice one step. For him, it is you to just backpedal and just give in to what he is demanding or what he wants. That is that's what all about. This is the reason why we have people are giving you the former president for Malawi, Bakiri Muruza, have to withdraw. Because they knew that for whatever stand the government made, it was fine, or they are not going to change their mind, and they will never change their mind on that one. Okay, it's quite unfortunate that we can have the former head of state up to for a year now croaking, and we have not yet buried him, simply because of one individual. On the pretext that because it's the government, and the government he has to preside over that. That is just just a very lame excuse. The government does not mean the president himself. He could have even sent some people there to the vice president. Since the family made it very clear that we were very ready to bury the former president in the country, provided the president is not there. Just in case for some people who may not remember, it was agreed that the president would, when the boat arrives in this country, he has to the boat has to go through to Copper Belt, then to Pitauke. But when they sat together, they agreed that okay, fine, as long as the presidents won't be around there, we agree that they won't make that step. Although that was a sacrifice which the family made. After it was then the government changed their mind. And it's quite unfortunate that some people can still, even to up to today, blame the family as if they are the one who have problem this. I just wonder I just fail to understand how Zambian people think that they can be so much cheated, even up to this time. Somebody cheated you 5 years ago, and they still want you to cheat you. That people should also bring me to one issue that I always get surprised at when they talk about the date. That they keep on always repeating that they left a lot of Concord. For instance, if you borrowed 5,000. For instance, in 10 years, you buy bread, you buy this and that, everything. At least that most of the things that people needed. Me, I come and borrow 10,000. Just in 2 years' time, I don't see anything. I don't buy anything. Nobody sees anything that I've used that money for. And I still come and start even teasing you and telling the people that this Mr. Mwamba borrowed. Reckless. Who is reckless between you and I? You borrow 5,000. In 10 years, people are able to see what you have done in that month. I come and pay and borrow 10,000, and I don't do anything out of that within a short period of time. I can even still have that audacity to say you borrowed recklessly. Sometimes I wonder how they take us for Zambians for. I don't know whether it is ourselves who have been allowed in such a manner. Somebody says they destroyed, and yet for them, they found the minimum what was at 150, it's now 200. The fuel at 17 quarters now almost 30,000. Somebody said this, they destroyed. Anyway, Pamamba, let me just end here to give a chance to others.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
very
you.
nothing. The last point is when somebody said,
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and make your contribution.
You're still live?
Yes, I am. I'm just about to close. Do you want to speak to me privately?
Yes.
Okay, I'll call you. I'm just closing. Okay, family. So tomorrow join the broadcast and tomorrow join the broadcast and we'll be grateful if you attend the memorial. It's in honor of the late president. It is to his honor. There are great attempts by State House to stop this process. We are lucky that some churches across the country will host this memorial despite the threats that are coming from CCZ and EFZ. And today, the chairpersons of Provincial Pastors Fellowship were being called by the provincial police commissioners that have a word from both CCZ and from EFZ not to allow the memorial services in the provinces to take place. So this is not just an action of the police, it's collaborating with CCZ and EFZ, and we had to call them. Looks like my dear sister from Kaputa. My dear sister, do you still wish to contribute? Mkwai.
Okay, natotera sana. Bakonfwa, aka kulekelesha kuna chilafa okulanda popalwanfa no kwibukisha memorial. Muchipemba kwaliba icho batila. Uwalo obwanfwa nango uwalo we, I don't like this word, webanda. That's 1 year after infa yonse. Ya bashubantu bafira ngubana kulubantu shimwana nanguna mwana. Abalupa bale kolongana, bachitana sende kuchaba kwati kuseta bamubalalila limo bambi awe. Abakulirapo kumushi bamo kuti mwalanda, you've witnessed this or you've heard of this. So ichicha kwata memorial mchechi for fine first year. Well and good kumachecho kubalechita nama families alechita kuchilimwa. It's a pain in the hearts. Kumushi balachita ceremony ukuchilina kushika abatikuli bwaro bwanfwa. That's a year after umuntu afwile. Bafwile pa 5th June. Pa 5th June nishibali kumbaka liobwalo bali pekanya bakepike nkoko isa bichilemba inama bachitana fimbisho balefwa okuchita abene okupiribula umwaka muri yemfwa. So bamayo bana lungu uko baba n'abana tetu bachitefyo as a family chilife mumwela kanshikuba pepela kofie ukulomba fyo kutila umobale ubushisha how this news reached them mupashiwa mshilobonda pia babantu natotela mkwai.
Thank you very much. Thank you, family. That's the end of our program today. We'll discuss other matters. If the Lord blesses us with life tomorrow, we have to thank Him for the gift of life every day. Like a caller said, today could be ours. Tomorrow is God's time. So we hope to see you as you remember the late president. We can remember him even in our homes, even wherever we are privately. God bless you, and we will speak to you tomorrow.
Mundubile, 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 char, mundubile, mundubile. So I'm your malushi, yon samarabish. So I'm your malushi, yon samarabish. So I'm your malushi, yon samarabish. So I'm your malushi. June 5th, 2025. That's the date he took his last breath. And over 365 days have gone by. No resting place, no final peace. Just petty, vindictive politics. My fellow Zambians, look at what they're doing to our very own. This is not who we are. We gotta get our country back. Whoa. Hey, they think we don't see their bitterness. Even the youth know about their pettiness. Over 12 months since the leader passed away, but that man is still blocking his burial today. Twisted the law to settle an old score, keeping the helpless widow crying at the door. You think you are flexing your power, lifting the bar, but you just shown everybody how hateful you are. Chagwalungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagwalungu, the grudges they keep. This is not who country back. Go to Chawama, go anywhere in the land. When a man dies, we shake each other's hand. You drop the argument, you show some respect. That's the basic decency that we expect. But one angry man wants to play a wicked game, trying to erase the former president's name. If they can treat a statesman with this much hate, don't even think they'll care about your fate. Chagwa Lungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagwa Lungu, the grudges they keep. This is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this story on election day. Chagwa Lungu, Chagwa Lungu, we are not going home. Chagwa Lungu, Chagwa Lungu, until you let him go home. Forget their protocols, forget their foolish pride. Look at the bitterness they're trying to hide. On August 13th, your vote has the power to kick out the hatred and heal our land. Chagwa Lungu, they won't let you sleep. Chagwa Lungu, the grudges they keep. Hey, this is not who we are. This is not our way. We will change this story on election day. Chagwa Lungu, Chagwa Lungu, we are not going home. Chagwa Lungu, Chagwa Lungu, until you let him go home. Chagwa, Chagwa, let the man rest. Chagwa, Chagwa, let the man rest. We are tired of the grudges, take your beef away. Chagwa, Chagwa, let the man rest. This is not who we are. Few days to go before we get our country back.
Chagwa, Chagwa, let him rest. 12 months in the cold is enough. Zangra. Remember this when you stand in line to vote. Edgar Chagwa Lungu is still out in the cold, still waiting to sleep.